Hello, hello, and welcome back to Comet Tales. I am your host, Oliver Alzo, joined by several very special and amazing individuals who make telling this story possible. Let's start with Lily, since Maris unfortunately couldn't join us tonight.
Yes.
Rest in peace.
He's not dead. He's just upstairs.
Yeah, he needs to rest in peace because otherwise his broken ankle is going to act up, right?
yes. So no. Maris wishes everyone well. Of course, he is tired and a lot of things after surgery.
Mm.
But myself, hello everyone. Very happy to be here playing Comet Tales. I'm playing the lovely Stars Druid Lyra. Excited to see how we possibly get ourselves out of this horrible situation we have found ourselves in. Yeah, no, looking forward to it.
Up next, we have B.
Hello, I'm Beatrix Bunny. When I'm not here, I am a variety streamer that does roguelike, RPG, and digital artwork content mainly. And when I am here, I am playing Zuza Sovana. Unfortunately, I have learned only one of the heirs to my house's proud tradition of being the living jail cells of a entropic godlike entity that makes us all a little funny, a little quirky in our biology. It's got a second mouth, sucks out color for food, that sort of thing. And in addition to being a little vampire, I'm playing as a warlord, which is a homebrew class by Kibbles Tasty.
Very nice, very, very cool. And next up, we have Azura.
Hi, my name is Zara the Azure Dragon. I'm a variety streamer and VTuber who will eventually start covering D&D content once she knows what the fuck she's doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find me on both Twitter, Blue Sky, and on Twitch here, following the exact same name you see us on stream. So feel free to stop on by and say hi if you ever feel like it.
Yes,
Oh,
please,
yeah, that's
please
a good
do.
point. We're all on Blue Sky now.
Yeah,
Thank you,
we're
Twitter.
moving. Thank you, Twitter, for giving us the opportunity to move to bluer pastures.
It's not Twitter's fault. It's X's fault. You know?
Yeah,
That's
we gotta make
true.
that. We gotta make that distinction. Twitter did no such thing. That's blasphemy.
And of
Twitter.
course, you can see all of our Blue Sky profile names right in the chat window right now. I assume.
Yes, I'm
We'll
assuming
add it
everyone
in
still has the
post.
same name. Yeah, we can always just mess around with that.
Whatever. We'll figure it out. We're getting there.
Yes, very special thank you to several individuals. Borobound for providing us the amazing soundtracks that we'll be using. Distant Echoes for when we get those sweet, sweet character moments where we all have individual character moments. Vesper Fortune, thank you for lore consulting. And of course to Kaylin Frost for doing all of our character artworks. Let's get back to the adventure, shall we? On our last adventure, the Crystal Dragons continue their quest through the casino domain of the criminal mastermind Finia for a threefold purpose. The first, to obtain a powerful psionic artifact from within the vault of the room of the casino. The second, to continue their alliance with Finia, who sought to root out a wealthy informant for the Githyanki, further gaining the trust and support of the Golden Wings Guildmaster. Third and final reason, to find said informant and deliver them to the Federation, where they can successfully escape the pirate Star Chasers fleet. The Crystal Dragons approach a crossroads, where they must choose between several allies, or perhaps make the most of every faction vying for their attention. The party split off to engage their heist and participate in the Casino Royale hosted by Finia. Ashala, Lyra, and Zuza searched the hotel floors for any evidence of who the informant could be, finding mysterious ongoings in multiple rooms, one of which was even concealing a murder. Before the heist could truly begin, it seems the Githyanki had their own plans and struck Finia's private army, the Gold Cloaks. It was not long before the forces were overwhelmed, but the trio fortunately found the access key to breach the security office. Ashala successfully took on the form of a Gold Cloak commander and snuck into the security office, using the generator to cause a power fluctuation, enough to allow the party to enter the vault. Upon arrival, they found themselves confronted with one of the Githyanki Knights, an efficient individual who chose to complete the mission rather than fight an unwinnable battle against the fierce crystal dragons. He fled deep into the vault, grabbing the crystal the party sought from a statue before teleporting away, snatching the jaws of victory away from them. In their moment of defeat, they realized the statue reacted to the crystal being removed and opened its chest compartment, revealing the true psionic crystal. The trio find themselves trapped within the vault as a deadly security system begins to turn on, surrounded by incredible items but with no way out. And this is where we will return.
Okay.
Oh god. It looks just as bad as I remember it.
Yep. So that being said, I think when we were last talking about how to escape, I think one of the things we remember hearing was, or remember from how things were looking before. The turrets themselves do seem to sweep the area. If we could, but simply deal with the two in front of us first, getting to this one over that one, which was webbed before, and then sneaking behind the one up north, we could then, after they start looking away, maybe get into the interlocking door mechanism again, and slip out from there.
Right. I think
That
yeah.
That's what I was thinking before.
I don't think I dropped the web if I can help it.
Don't believe you did, from my memory.
Yeah, I would say either way, I'm sure I will make another concentration check before the night is up. Can I see the turrets from here?
From where you are standing, they're technically behind the smash security gate that the Githyanki individual jumped straight through. You might be able to see them a little bit through, like, the door of the gate. But as far as being able to directly shoot a beam or something directly towards it, you'd have to open up the door.
Ah, but I don't need to aim when it's magic missile.
That is true. Also,
That
you
is fair.
technically all have 3 turns to interact with this location. I don't believe we have an initiative, but it's fine. We can just kind of 1, 2, 3.
Have we?
Is
Like, we
there
have
much
taken
of
some...
a ticking clock here with, like, just as a refresher, since it's been a little while, how short of a time span do we have?
You have 3 turns until the security system turns on, and I'd say about a little bit less than a minute, so a little bit less than 10 turns. We'll call it 9 turns until the whole building is back online, and people up in the security offices are going to notice that there are a bunch of individuals camping out in the vault.
What do you mean? Okay. So we have looked through like a good bit of the space here. I know we found the books. Have we taken everything, or is that going to be a part of this turn?
That would be part of an investigation, kind of look through and find different objects.
Okay.
I believe everyone
Yeah.
had a good check to kind of point out that there are several.
I saw everything.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Oh, casual nuclear warhead. Oh, books
Yes.
of magic. Lovely.
Yes. So there are 8 books there. Some of them you were able to recognize as being skill books, and that piqued your interest. The rest, however, the little chests are each individually a set of gold to some degree, but you would probably need to lockpick them open. If you want to open any of these things, it seems like the books are just out in the open. There's also the locked chest in the corner, which you're not really certain what's in there. There's also the cryopod, which may have someone inside of it. The section of Devil's Ruby in a giant crate. The glowing blue gemstones, which you're not quite familiar with.
Oh God. Shala, while we try and figure out any sort of plan to make things happen, do you want to try and check in any of the locked chests to see if there's anything that could assist with this matter?
Sure.
We just mark them. One here, this one here, here, and this one here. There are
Okay.
5
Try and
in
open up
total.
this one.
You open up that one. Okay, go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
Where is it? Here we go. Just a sleight of hand check. So, Lieutenant, yeah, that should be fine. You know, I'm gonna add a psionic dice to this to add I believe a D8. Is it? Let me check. It was psionic powers, wasn't it?
So let's start math. There.
5th level is a D8, yes.
Yep.
D8. Cool. So we'll roll a D8 and see if that does anything.
5.
Okay, that turns out.
Hey.
Yes. So 17 total. Which
17.
is better than 12.
Yes, it is. You're not quite familiar with this type of lockbox. Definitely more high-tech than you're familiar with. But fortunately, you were actually able to go ahead and kind of get it open by jamming in your lockpick. When you kind of pull it open, the slide on the top opens up, and you reveal that it's actually some type of Mercane shopping box. And as you're kind of looking around inside, you see that there is a singular set of jewelry inside. There is a necklace, an earring, a bracelet, and a ring.
Very curious.
That has to be something magical.
Oh,
Yes, but do we have the
absolutely.
time to find out?
No. Damn it. I'm just going to see what happens. And try and shoot one of the turrets with a magic missile. If we can get rid of a few of them, that should make this a lot easier.
It's a fair
So-
point.
3rd level would be 5. But I guess you just roll the 1d4 anyways. So I'm gonna shoot a 3rd level magic missile through my little wand at this turret here.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for damage.
Okay, so 20.
20 damage, okay. You go ahead and prepare your magic missile, and the little missiles fly out in a straight line. Projectile darts that just go straight through every object until they strike true at their target. And it seems to kind of like jitter the turret around with every impact, but it seems to relatively be still moving to some degree. Though it does seem to have a bit of a creak to it now as it adjusts, so you definitely did something to it.
Okay. Not immune to force damage. Damn it.
Let's see.
All right,
Was
I wanna-
there a
I want to go
blind
grab the books
spot?
also. But
Oh, yes. Was there a blind
Oh, I
spot
presume we did.
while we were coming in that it looked like it wouldn't be able to aim towards?
Just to start, you guys did look at the books, but you didn't touch the books.
okay.
Okay.
Because you were very hesitant to see if anything was trapped because the doors were trapped,
That's fair.
and the statue also had a little bit of movement, so you were hesitant at the time. So just a bit of a refresher.
Oldus was smarter than us, than current.
You just don't remember that because it's been a hot minute. That's perfectly fine. As far as blind spots go, yes, there are blind spots that are relatively right in the back on either side. However, as soon as you cross that threshold, it is open season.
Would it be possible, like, you said one of them was disabled, yes?
Yes, the one that is to the north has been somewhat disabled.
All right. Would it be possible to like get behind here without getting in the firing range at the one opposite?
Theoretically, yes, you would be able to get behind that one. I would recommend you would know that standing further back would be safer. there is potentially a risk by standing right around the door.
Okay,
What would that
I-
be?
I have an idea. Because to be fair, with every turret, there's a sensor. I want to see if we can see the sensor and just shoot it out.
Okay.
One of the things I was going to potentially think about was trying to have Zots see if he could decouple any cables or tear through anything like that. Maybe try and unplug a sensor in that way.
Are you certain you want to send Zots out into...
That's why I was asking so specifically about if there was a safe blind spot for us, like a tiny creature.
The turrets can look at each other.
Damn.
The advantage that you all currently have is that the turrets are designed to stop people from getting to where you are, not to stop people
Yeah.
from getting out of where you are. Though I suppose that is essentially a similar thing.
Alright, well, since I'm pretty sure out of character that the books take too long to read, then we'll be
Oh, we're absolutely not
particularly
reading them here.
Yeah. You know what? I'm curious if there is anyone inside of this cryo coffin and how mobile that looks.
It is somewhat covered in ice. You're going to have to kind of try and sweep off some of the ice.
Okay.
But it does look quite viciously cold, as it is a cryopod. Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
Okay.
Natural 1.
Oh. I've missed you. Roll 20 D&D.
In that case, go ahead. You will be taking... 3 points of cold damage.
Okay.
As your hand immediately freezes over, and you just pull it back very, very sharply, and you're kind of surprised that the cold is so easily able to hurt you, especially given your recent attunement to the cold. But it's more of the way that this is designed using chemicals, so it's a bit more caustic to you than anything.
Is there any way did I like make any progress even though I hurt myself in seeing if there is anything inside of this?
No, in fact, when you pulled your hand off, it made a little bit of like a blood stain.
Fuck.
So it made it a little bit harder to see it on that spot, but everywhere else is just, just covered over in ice.
How thick is this ice?
It's pretty thick. Probably an inch or two.
This is such a stupid idea, but that seems to be a raison d'etre, so my idea was going to be trying to disable it to see A, is there anyone inside this? And if no, and it is mobile, if we could use it as some sort of movable coffin to transport ourselves out with.
That would be ambitious.
I will give no...
Look, I'm desperate. I got
answers to
nothing
that.
here.
Lyra, you wanted to go and look at the books.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead and give me an investigation check with advantage.
Okay.
Since you're already aware of the books and you're aware that some of them are skill books.
Opa, 15.
15. Okay, so as you go ahead and just kind of skim through all of them without touching them, you realize that there are two interesting looking books that are kind of out of place and just placed in the middle. Likely, you imagine, as some form of trap. to prevent people from just reaching over and grabbing all of them and just shoving them into a pack if the place were ever to get robbed.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, you're not quite certain as to what it is, but you get an immediate vibe of just grief and horror as your hand even approaches near it.
Oh god.
It is particularly terrible. However, you are fortunate enough that you noticed the feeling before you were able to touch it.
Yeah.
And as your hand kind of slid over to the other one, you felt sort of that vibration of magic and the weave. And you think to yourself, I probably shouldn't touch that without knowing what that is. But as far as you can tell, that one seems to be some kind of wizard's journal.
Okay.
But very clearly trapped to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
All the other books, however, the skill books, you notice them easily and are able to pick them straight out of the bookshelf, and you are able to get one skill book for each group.
Each member of the group?
One skill book for each ability
each
score.
set.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You can always
Strength is my
add that
dump
later.
stat.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm trying to remember. Did I actually see what was actually in the case? Was it like it was another laser rifle, wasn't it?
That one is a bolter gun, so it is a very, very big gun. More of a cannon, if anything.
I already got.
So for the purposes of this, because
Valentine.
it is a big looting situation, we're gonna say that you can use your action and your bonus action to lockpick in this specific scenario, since you're kind of in that like, gotta get everything, get it in my pack kind of mood.
I'm just thinking if we wanted to like either shoot out the turrets or disable it, I think maybe a big bolter gun might be the thing we need.
Might be a good one.
Yeah, that would help.
It is an option. Directly next to the nuclear warheads, always a fun.
Look, you're not giving us much room here, Mr. Sassy Pants.
I mean, to be fair, we haven't seen everything, but at the same time, there's
It's
not
true.
a lot of time. So I'll definitely lockpick this one.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand.
Okay. I will use the last of my psionic energy to roll a die to see if I can turn that result into a better one.
I'm also gonna use my last
17.
cosmic omen to help with that.
We'll say you can hold that one.
Okay.
We'll say that
save
because
that
you
6
rolled
for
it.
later.
Yeah, that's used for another one later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, you are able to actually open this one up, and as you go to pull this up, what's your strength score?
Oh God.
Hey, gamers.
11.
11.
There's
You
not a
are
single strong
You are
character in our group.
able to lift it out of the box. But as you pull it out of the box, you're thinking to yourself, if I shoot this thing, I'm probably going to break a rib. Or worse.
Cool.
I have a 13 strength score, but no hands.
You don't have
No
hands?
legs, you
Oh,
mean.
that's true, you don't have
Hands.
hands.
It's
Are you a
all
spider right
it's
now?
all in the waist.
Oh,
No.
right, that's fair.
Okay, you got
Yeah,
magic
no,
hands.
I feel that.
But yes,
Which
you
maybe
now
this might be a
have
bad
the
idea.
bolter.
Okay. Well, at the very least, at least it's an option. A very bad option, but an option nonetheless.
A nuclear option, one might say.
Yeah.
Next to a
let's
nuclear
go to
option.
this- Yeah, I'm gonna go over to this door.
Okay.
I'm kind of curious, like, because we saw like a whole bunch of like pots and stuff over here and other bits and pieces. I'm wondering if there's anything else on the other side.
Just taking a quick look through the door, you see a massive tank, which you're not quite certain is what inside. It's very blood red in color. And there seems to be something floating around in there. Go ahead and make a history check.
Oh, no.
History check. Well, we'll see. 23.
Okay.
23.
Okay.
As you are kind of looking at this, You recall once more back to the time when you were with Skiff, the Steel Serpent, and you recall raiding a Federation ship a long, long time ago when you were very, very little. And you remember that there was a sort of experimental technology where they were attempting to recreate the clone spell, but in a material form where you wouldn't need to use magic whatsoever. So if the ship captain were to have a unfortunate accident, there was a chance that you could bring them back using the sort of cloning tank. This looks similar to that, but it's different in design. It's much more kit bashed. So you're not sure if it's better or worse in this case. But you're curious as to what the purpose could be.
Okay, nothing we can use. At least not for now.
Not quite. There's also a 3D printer on the far end there.
Alas, I don't think we're gonna have a good time here. I think we just need to pick a route and book it. I think.
Yeah, I think we book it at the left. Because that has the web turret.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm probably gonna use the laser rifle if we're gonna be taking out the turrets quickly.
Yeah, I think we run and shoot along the way, kind of thing.
Right. I
See
guess
what
let's
happens.
all pile up here and get ready.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so everyone's grouping up.
Huh?
And you begin, we'll say you begin your movement now.
Let's
From
make
this
it happen, gamers. So, I think we just all run our full 30.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess we should roll initiative.
Yeah.
Just for the sake
in
of,
case.
yeah.
Where's my button? There's my button. That one initiative.
It's okay because the turrets are environmental, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
True.
All right. Zuza, what would you like to do first then? Seeing as you're going first.
Oh god. All right.
I'm probably gonna like attempt to at least finish off the turret that
one, yeah.
that Lyra shot at.
Right. Well, I suppose if you really press yourself, you should be able to make, I don't know, two more pulls of the trigger. I'm giving you both of my attacks because I sure as fuck ain't using them.
Fair enough.
Okay, so that is technically my action. So let's see what I can do with this.
I think you get ready for urgent orders later, at least.
Yeah, like that is what I'm thinking of. Let's see. 'Cause- Yeah, oh, that's a bonus action though, not a reaction. Lyra, how fast are you?
30.
Okay. And Ashala, how fast are you?
30, but considering I can dash as a bonus action, at the very most I could do 90.
Lyra, would you like to use your reaction to immediately start to get a head start?
Probably not a bad idea.
Okay, move up to
2, 3,
30 feet
4,
without provoking
5,
opportunity attack.
6.
And you get, let's see,
I'm a little nervous about that.
yeah, there it is.
So it was
11
3 turns
temporary hit
until
points.
Okay.
security is enabled, and then 10 more after that until people realize, oh, there's people down there?
9 turns until the security office is back and the cameras are working so that they can see what's going on. In 3 turns, or I suppose 2 at this point, the turrets will turn on and will begin turning everything into mulch in the area.
All right.
Okay.
And I'll be
Let's
going
book it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Don't be a privilege.
And that's my turn, I guess.
Ashala,
All right.
gotta go fast.
Yeah, that's very true. Wait, why is it? Hold on. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to. I won't be able to get any of my sneak attacks, I don't think, unless I shoot the one that Lyra is underneath. But because you shot this one, I believe, right, Lyra?
Yeah, I shot the far one.
Okay. In that case, to be fair, I could probably make up for it next turn by hold on, let me check sneak attack before I decide. Because I just realized it might not work.
I don't know if I would consider the turrets threatened
Yeah.
at this
The attack must
elevation.
use yeah. The attack must use a finesse or a ranged weapon. Yeah, so I have a ranged weapon, so that's fine. I could take the aim action and then next turn dash 90 feet. That would give me time.
That you
Yep.
could, yes.
So I think what I'll do is bonus action aim, target this one, and I'm going to basically rapid fire shoot this thing 3 times.
Okay.
The first one
Go
being
ahead.
the aim shot. So let's do advantage.
Crits?
Okay.
Let's go.
Sneak
That-
attack.
Okay.
Yes. How much damage? Oh my goodness!
Incredible.
As you hope that Lyra is able to do just enough damage to weaken it, and you sort of just get down on one knee and you say, okay, I'm going to sprint as soon as I take this shot, and it's gonna be like a marathon. It's gonna be a triathlon. I'm gonna get my gun in and I'm gonna sprint. And you ready for it, you take the shot with this weapon that you're not super familiar with. And your steady aim and practice has paid off as you fire off a shot that hits the target right in its ammunition, and the whole thing explodes. And there is just a burn mark in the wall where the turret once was.
Okay.
You're welcome.
It's one turret
How
down.
big was that explosion?
Not big enough to hurt
That'll
anyone
do.
else.
Okay, good.
Good God. But yeah, I guess that'd be my turn, unless I want to take a couple of shots at the second turret.
I was like,
Yeah.
if you can see it.
You've used how many so far?
One.
One
Yeah, I
attack.
mean, you do
Might
have
as well, I suppose.
you do have another 3 if you want.
2.
Is
Unless
it?
you're, unless you're giving 3 attacks.
Oh, sorry.
It'd be another
No,
2.
yeah,
I believe
that
two,
another
yes.
game.
So 2 more
I
attacks.
forgot.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I could at least weaken the second one before I run, just in case. But
I can probably finish off whatever's left if there is, you know.
yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Let's just take a couple of shots if I can see it from there. So then just a couple of shots. 15 and no. So
15 and no.
Okay, on the 15, the 15 will hit. Go ahead and roll for damage.
cool. Oh, ignore the sneak
Not sneak
attack. It's just
attack.
12 radiant.
It's 12 points
it's
of
12
damage.
radiant.
And on the second one, the laser rifle is actually going to overheat in your hands.
Oh no.
Ah, so I'm gonna have to get it fixed probably.
Hey Valentine, I got you a present. It's broken.
And as it overheats, it deals 8 points of damage to you.
Oof. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right, I'll take that.
Um,
I guess it just needs to cool off now.
It will need some time to cool off, but it's not broken, much like the other ones are.
That's good.
However, if you blow it up again soon, or you continue shooting with it, it might blow up.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm
You know
gonna
what?
I'm gonna hold off from shooting again. All right. I believe it's now your turn, Lyra.
All right.
Yes.
Then we'll make it happen. I'm gonna shoot the magic missile at the one that's right in front of the one's right above me as I sort of walk on by for 15, I think. Yes.
Yep, 15
that's
points
15.
of damage.
Mm-hmm. Still standing, I take it.
Yes, it is still standing.
Alright.
Though it is moving much like the previous one, where it was kind of jittery.
That's all the magic missile stacks I have. So I guess otherwise we're gonna start making a break for it. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Bonus action. I don't think I really have a bonus action. No. Okay. So that'll do for me.
Okay, back to Zuza. You're hearing things exploding behind you, and you have no clue what's going on. You just know you need to get out of there. You are terrified.
Yeah,
Just help Lyra escape. Just help Lyra escape.
I'm so slow.
Yeah,
Big slithery tail.
let's see. Oh god, there's still the one up ahead. Sorry, the two up ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, let's... Yeah, let's use another leadership die to give you another reaction. I can't give you more temp HP, so...
I mean, I'm still looking okay. Like, I've got 41 with 11 temp HP, so...
Yeah.
If need be, I'll finish off the one that's like next to me with something
Yeah.
else.
Okay, and let's see.
Just worry about maybe the turrets up ahead.
I'll go
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know what? I haven't used an action yet, and unfortunately, I don't think. Well, no, it's C or here. Do you think it's worth me giving you the extra attacks again, or should I just focus on moving?
I would say... I'd say worry about moving for now. I'm gonna see if instead of damaging it, I can just try and like maybe cut some cords or something.
Okay.
If I can reach it.
Alright, then I will use my action to dash to go another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I say telepathically.
And these are still off up here, yes?
For now,
Okay, cool.
I think they activate next turn.
I don't think as much as I would love to game it, I don't think I can like go 7, right?
No, that is a solid wall corner.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, that's my movement.
Ashala. There is one turret right above you.
Yep. I'm going to move up to it. As I'm not confident I can outright destroy it with any of my current equipment right now. However, with the Serpent's Dagger, could I look for maybe understanding what powers the device in question? Maybe I can just simply cut the power by cutting the cord or something?
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Yep, I will do so. Thankfully, I have a plus 10.
19. As you are taking a look at this thing, you do notice that it does have some wires going in. You're not necessarily certain what they do, but it probably would be bad if they were cut. The problem is they're a bit high, so you could try and throw your dagger or maybe even climb up there really quick and just kind of slice it. Could always mage hand.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds like a way better idea.
Yep.
Just so it's clear what direction the turret was in when it was webbed. It is
Okay.
currently restrained.
That's good. I am right on top of it. I am very glad to hear that.
I mean, it did shoot me in the ass. As
Mm.
I
But you
was
healed
getting
yourself up
by.
for it.
Are
Yeah.
you still leaking ass, or?
No, I mean, I'm missing 5 HP, but it's not a
Okay.
big deal.
Yeah, it's...
Oh yeah, would I need anything like check wise to disable it?
You know what? If with your with your mage hand, you are able to just send your little mage hand up. It flies straight up, and just kind of pulls out both of the wires. And you see the red light on it turn off. You're not certain if it's entirely deactivated, but whatever the red
I
light
bought myself
was
some time.
is off. You might have bought yourself some time potentially.
I've turned off the light. Now we won't know if it's on or not. Alright, in that case, I'll bonus action dash to move the remaining 50 I have, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. It's fine, I have evasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rest of us, on the other hand, do not.
Lyra,
Yeah.
Yeah?
it's your turn.
All right. I guess I will just kind of make sure that I'm not in the, in the line of fire. Actually, hold on. I was right here at the start. I didn't track my.
That one was cycling, so it's currently off. It was kind of just going through its last bit of power, so you can just go straight through.
Okay.
But you could also cut corners if you'd like.
15, 20, 25. And I see these turrets here. Oh god. Is anybody else in the party missing HP, by the way? I just realized I don't remember.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, you guys, you took the 8, I know.
It's only. It's only 3 HP though, so I
Okay.
think I'll be able to survive.
Just barely.
Mm.
Okay, then I'm going to bonus action just toss a quick healing word at Ashala. Just to make sure we're all feeling good as we inevitably get ready to be blasted to pieces. So just a little first level one for 10.
Okay.
And then, damn.
Why, thank you, my Nebula.
Now's not the time. Flirty even as we're about to get gunned down.
Healing performance anxiety.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna use my action then to dash, to try and get as far as I can. So 5, 30. Oh god.
By the way, do you have like Revivify or something?
I do.
just in
Yeah, I
case?
have a
Okay.
scroll of Revivify and Revivify available.
Okay.
I think you get one more, no?
Do I get one more square?
I think you get one more scroll. Or one more space.
Okay, I
Yeah.
forgot how many it took to get up to here. So yeah, I appreciate you being generous.
Alright.
I am nothing if not fair.
Okay.
As we go back to the top of the round, all of the lights on the turrets are turning on. Souza, you're up.
Okay. Cool. All right. So let me start by going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now for this bit, could I go 6, then 7, or do I have to go over and around?
We'll say that you can go through Lyra, but you do have to go through the middle or the right because the vault door kind of swung open as opposed to just sliding open.
All right, so that was
You
1,
wouldn't be able to go through
2,
here.
3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, was that 6?
It was 5, where you're at
5.
right now.
All right. So
Just
I
gonna
can
add
count other
bolts
people
again
to
to my
put on this
inventory.
7.
There you go.
Oh
You're-
God. You'll be able to get out in one turn, right?
Yeah, if I don't get blasted to bits this turn, I'm fine. They're not going to do 52 points of damage in one round.
Okay. If you're sure.
I mean,
As I look directly into the camera and smile like it's an episode of The Office.
Oh God. I mean. Well, first, I guess, since I can do it by voice, let me do the rest of this movement. Yes, that can hear me. That's fine. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, okay.
by the way, Ashala can only make it to there with full action, bonus action dashing.
Ashala.
That's fine. I have evasion.
Could Ashala hear me?
Probably.
Not probably from there, but as Ashala gets closer, perhaps.
All right. I don't suppose you'd allow me to use
Hold on, how
this.
far could I get?
I think it was to here.
If you can go at 90.
5, 10, 15, 20.
Yeah, so if I got to here. Oh shit. Can I? There you go. Nope.
You can
Alright.
get to the door.
Like here to the door?
I believe one space technically in.
Is that safe?
It's fine. I have evasion.
That's because that's technically not in the vault.
I believe in her. And
Oh,
if
shit.
she goes down, I got her.
Okay.
I'm pretty confident I can get there.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah,
I will
I'm confident.
trust you
And then, yeah, I'm pretty
and
confident I can
save
get there.
my only class resource.
Well, actually, wait, you have. Sorry.
Yeah, I have 90. So, like, it gets me it takes me 40 to get here, and then from there, it gets 40 to get there. So then I have 2 to move, so I can get in here and then maybe
Okay.
into
Yeah,
of
you can
the-
get one space in there.
yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
you get a solid 2 spaces in.
yeah.
All right.
Whenever these guns choose to start firing, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I believe it's my turn now, right? Or is it?
Yes, it is your turn.
Okay, in that case, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bonus action dash. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then action dash. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Could I diagonal, or is that like I
We
have
can
to
say,
be here?
yeah, you know what? We can say you get diagonal there.
4,
Yay.
5, 6. Yeah, I can get in.
Okay.
Safe.
Unless you want me like maybe in the corner or something, because I did say I was thinking the maintenance hatch.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because to be fair, that's where I came from, and also one of the guards was in there anyway.
It's added in there, yeah.
So I'll probably say here, yeah.
And Lyra.
Okay. Are we all going into the maintenance then?
The lift, or do you want to go into maintenance?
Both don't feel incredibly inconspicuous right now, but I will lean on.
Out of character, the lift will just take us straight back up to the shopping floor, right?
The lift will take you either to the shopping floor, the first floor, all the way up to Valentine, or back to the security office. Though you don't really imagine any reason to go to most of those floors.
So we'd only just go back to the shopping district, pretty much, if we were to go back up.
Yeah, or you could start making your way out.
Would
yeah, we'll
they
just go for
have
the lift.
Okay, let's just go for the lift
The
then.
main
Unless they expect
elevator
us to go
then,
that way.
or- I don't know. Like, that's my concern, if they have some way of tracking what floor the elevator stalled out on when the power went out. Because, like, if we took the elevator deliberately down to this floor, that's gonna look pretty bad. If, however, we, like, I don't know,
If I take you
if
through
it just
security,
happened
though,
to stall here,
Yeah,
Yeah.
going
that
through
would be
security is a bit
significantly
spooky.
better. Like, I'm
Yeah, it
not
doesn't-
saying no to the idea of going through the main elevator, because I definitely think it will be easier to hide you there than it will be trying
Here's-
to hide the 14-foot butt elsewhere.
Is
Mhm.
there any cameras in this room? I forget what we
There
said.
are no cameras in the elevator room, as all the cameras were on the inside.
Then yeah, just take the lift. You should
Yeah.
be fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
If you
I
take,
think we just take the lift.
yeah, go in the lift. I'm gonna go through maintenance to just quickly look on some things, but then
Okay.
after that we should be fine.
Okay, we'll meet back up at the shopping floor.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright.
Then that, I think, will be it for my turn.
Oh, so you still have some more movement, no? Yeah, you still have.
I mean, I
two
still
more
like action
spaces.
dashes if I wanted to get in there, so yeah, it's fine. We'll be in there.
Okay, and as everyone enters,
Oh, am I allowed to move? I didn't know if we were out of initiative yet.
the sound of whirring and whirring and revving up can be heard from inside the vault, followed by the sounds of intense gunfire, and the doo 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 of the big cannons directly outside the door, blasting at the vault door.
And I drop wet.
The vault door begins to, it shuts itself, but begins blaring. You two are going to be taking the elevator, and Ashala is going to be taking the security system, or the security vents.
I'm gonna be taking maintenance way. Yeah.
Let's go with Ashala first. So you make your way through maintenance, and you find yourself back up in the 4th floor as you work through maintenance.
Yep. Before I do
Sure.
though, I did see a dead guard before.
Yes, you did.
Did they have the cloak?
The cloak, the stealth cloak?
The stealth cloak.
Go ahead and give an investigation check to them.
I'll be sure to. Investigation. 24.
24. As you're looking over, you're able to find the cloak that they have, the cloak of stealthing. But you notice that there's some type of gold writing on the back of it, on the inside specifically. And you're not certain it's something that you'll be able to use unless you're able to kind of manipulate the gold writing to work specifically for you. So unfortunately, not quite for you.
Unfortunate.
But if you're interested, you could possibly try and take it with you, see if you might be able to do something with it later.
Yeah, if not, if I can't use it currently, at the very least, I could still use it for like maybe for work into other things.
Potentially,
Like
yes.
maybe like possible technology for like a miniature version, like a stealth boy or something.
Yeah.
For when
Yeah,
you
so
just
you
need
can-
your arm to be invisible.
So you can add a tattered gold cloak to your inventory.
Mm-hmm.
And you find yourself back in the security office. I imagine
Sounds
you're
good.
re-glamoring back into a gold cloak commander as you
Yes.
re-enter this room.
Mhm.
We're gonna do one. See, can't move my little red dot. I see. It does not want to move this time. That's fine. Okay, so the cameras are not on this room. As you imagine that everyone is trying to figure things out. There is a separate service elevator that you might be able to take. That would get you back to the shopping floor.
Yeah.
Or you could just take the main elevator.
I think the gals are currently using it right now, right?
They are. But there is a system that allows multiple people to kind of get on at different floors.
Oh, that's fair. Well, I got the thing. I was thinking, I should have probably gone and grabbed that. So, although I could get the laser pistol if I really want to.
You could.
I'll get a couple. Maybe we can just practice for a while and learn how to shoot gun.
I'm sure there's a laser pistol on the market somewhere. It's fine.
There are plenty of laser pistols on the market. It
Yeah.
is the black market after all.
It's fine. We'll take the elevator up. Do I remember there being a camera on the guard's elevator?
On the security elevators, no.
Yeah, we'll take that up.
Or the maintenance elevators. Yeah, so you take the
Maintenance
elevator. Yeah, you take the maintenance elevator to the second floor.
There we go. Now we're all back.
I'm over here.
We'll just go ahead and put you right there. We'll take Zuza and just put you right there. And
Be all the way down in the corner.
yeah, Shala's way down in the
Can't
corner.
wait to cut to next session where it's like just Valentine and she's gone into some kind of like the thing scenario with the imposter and the entire floor is dead or something.
As you make it to this floor, actually,
Oh no.
Ashala, you actually start getting a psionic message, which you are able to pass along to the others. Hello down there. Is everyone all right? Things are a bit precarious up here. Everyone has started pulling guns on one another. I'll have to get back to you. Is everyone safe? Where are you going?
Well, so I sonically will talk back and say, we got the crystal. We're out of the vault. Just manage the situation if you can. If you need assistance, we'll come up and help. And also relay what I'm saying to Valentine to the other two.
Oh, good. No, I think it might be a bit dangerous up here. I will meet you somewhere else. The Weaver, perhaps? That is where we are supposed to deliver the crystal, no? Yes. Okay, I will meet you there. Wish me luck. And you hear the sounds of gunshots before she sonically disappears.
Oh no! Oh no! Okay. And just out of curiosity, did we give Valentine the thing to give to the secret agent to escape, by any chance?
Oh god, I don't remember.
Because I think that was the plan during the scuffle.
That would have made sense, so yes.
Yes.
And if it didn't happen, it would have happened anyway because it would have made sense, so.
Yes.
Yes. So yes, you are pretty much scot-free. You see that Groba is being walked into his room by a gold cloak officer. But you can't imagine that he's in very much trouble. You're not really sure why he's being walked out, but he is on his way out. It seems as though there's no one up by the doors. The elevator is kind of just waiting here, as are Lyra and Zuza. So you can go ahead and meet up with them, and all three of you can take the elevator out together.
Yep,
good.
sounds good.
Sounds good.
And everyone is able to make their way out back to the underside.
Yeah, just as a heads up, I just before I probably would have met up with them, I probably would have found a place to change out and then meet up with them just to make it look natural rather than
Oh yes,
going
you
out with a
could have
gold
done
cloak.
that. You could have done that in the service
Yeah.
elevator.
Yeah, that's fine.
And you have successfully escaped.
Nice.
As you all make your way outside of the pyramid, you are carrying this glowing pink crystal. Ashala, it seems to have some big resonation with you. It almost as if it wants to be in your possession.
Oh.
But do I get the idea if that's a good idea or not? That's the question.
Roll an insight check.
I'm not terrible. I'm not trained, so I will roll 10. So distinctly even.
As far as you can really tell, it doesn't seem to be malign, but given your understanding of what this item is, it is a Githyanki soul that has been actually, well, Githyanki is a bit too specific. Gith soul in particular. That has been essentially protected from being converted into an illithid. This is generally where these types of things are made. Githyanki have all sorts of methods of protecting themselves from being completely destroyed or turned into illithid, on the off chance that they have a tadpole placed inside of them. One such is destroying their body and keeping the soul, where the soul will be given back to Vlakith, though Vlakith has been gone for some time.
With that assumption, seeing as it's literally the psionic energy of another soul, I'm immediately drawing conclusions where I think it's probably best I don't, just because I don't know the soul in question and what they will try to do.
That's fair. Okay.
If anything, I would be a liability if I was to hold it. So I will let either Zuza or someone else basically hold it.
Okay. In that case, you hand off the crystal. And the others don't quite feel the resonance quite that you do. But they do feel a bit of just the warmth and the energy that it gives off. It's a very, very powerful energy source. You all are getting ready to make your way back towards the Weaver. Are you going to go any particular way to the Weaver?
I imagine we would take probably the lowest heat way possible in general, because even though like we're out, it's still like a little spooky.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably not like a direct line.
Everyone make a stealth check then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I will definitely help with that.
Oh, okay.
Good and good.
Oh,
And even better.
okay.
That's a very good stealth roll from the party.
As you all begin to take the stealthiest possible route, you decide that what is the stealthiest path, if not the loudest possible path, so you choose to run straight through the marketplace instead. Which does afford you a fantastic amount of cover from crowds and all the potential threats that would be around. And as you're actually passing through Zuza, you notice that there are 4 somewhat scary Githyanki troops that are kind of just patrolling down a side street. They're clearly looking for people with the psionic crystal. Fortunately, in your case, everyone is just so stealthy enough that they're sticking towards the busiest possible routes, where they would probably have a little bit of trouble getting the reading that they're looking for to find this massive psionic crystal.
Okay.
And you're able to successfully sneak your way past
Hmm.
and make your way back towards the Weaver's domain. And as you start to walk along the long path, the gate opens for you once more. And you find yourself approaching the inverted spire. The guards seem all too pleased to see you back, knowing that you're continually working for their leader. and they invite you in easily. Going in, you pass by the silvered murals and make your way all the way up to the top of the spire, where you were expecting to see the Weaver. However, the Weaver is not there. Ah, you've returned, I see. Forgive me for not showing myself. I'm not quite in the best of conditions at present.
So, are we just hearing his voice then?
Yes, you just hear his voice.
Okay.
That's quite all right. You're entitled to your own privacy.
We hope that Valentine is all right, but got into a bit of a situation on the way out. So, but yes, we brought you the crystal.
As you mention the crystal, you hear a bit of almost like chittering coming from the dark, where the Weaver emerged from previously. You're starting to wonder if potentially that's his legs moving almost just out of excitement, perhaps. The chitinous parts of his body kind of just crackling in the dark. However, his voice is still very hiding it, but you can sort of tell there's a level of excitement that there is in fact progress being made.
Lip biting.
Well, I'm glad that I entrusted this mission to the right hands. I am very pleased. If you could, hand it to one of my people over there. And you see a drow officer sort of just step forward towards you and just hold out like a cushioned box.
Alright. Yeah, I don't see any reason not to.
And as you hand it over, they use a sort of levitation spell to slowly drift it up to the top. And the crystal disappears in the dark. Even its light is hidden, as you imagine that the Weaver is actually hiding in magical darkness at the present moment. Perhaps the light is a bit harsh on his eyes. Yes, this is most certainly the correct crystal. So, the next step is to take this towards the Chaos Rift. It is in Githyanki territory, and as my scouts are reporting, there are some people that are out looking for you. Fortunately, they're not looking for you specifically, they are looking for this. Because it is now in my safe hands, I will hold on to it for now. When you are ready to make the journey, come back to me and I will return it to you, and you shall take it on your next leg of the journey. But trust that none of them will be able to reach me in here.
Yes, that seems more than amenable.
There was one Githyanki soldier that did manage to, well, he took the wrong one, but likely did get a good read on our face.
Mine especially, seeing as I pursued him with great vigor.
Githyanki were all over the casino.
You see two red eyes peer out from the magical darkness, looking down upon Ashala's face.
Biting lip harder.
I see. Well, in that case, I suppose there's no reason not to take the safest routes possible. If you should need, I could have some of my forces escort you, but I imagine that would be a bit obvious. And as keeping things quiet is ideal, I imagine it would be best if you sort of made your way out on your own. Though, in the interest of being fully discreet, I do have something I must ask.
Oh?
There is an individual who has somewhat of a high standing with me. He has performed a favor for me. He has requested a favor of me in return. He has asked specifically for the four of you by name, which is a bit surprising given that none are aware of our interactions. Asked for you by name to deliver him to the Chaos Rift. How our little plan has been divulged, I will have to look. And you feel all the drow in the room just shudder just a little bit. I don't imagine that we have a mole of any sort, but for someone to have such information, they would need to be a better spy than perhaps Fania could ever desire. And given the favor they have performed for me, I'm inclined to request that you assist them. It is only a escort mission of sorts.
Well, I feel I must inquire as to whomst exactly it is that we are to be engaged with.
Discretion is the name of the game here, and in this case, I will be keeping his secrets as he does intend to meet you face to face. In fact, he requested to meet you at the Moondrop Tavern. I believe that all of you are familiar with it, yes? And as you recall, the Moondrop Tavern is your usual place that you go for things.
Mm-hmm.
So he's very aware of who you are, who you work with, and where you frequent.
I don't suppose that he was ever so kind as to provide some means of us to recognize him, or are we to simply wait for him to make the first move?
Given the locale and my understanding of it, I imagine it would be a bit simple to just walk in and anticipate who it is. It's a bit of a quiet place, and I'm certain it will be difficult to miss him. He's quite the large fellow.
All right.
I just, if I might ask, there's a few, newer developments that I wanted to make sure that you were aware of.
You hear a bit of a chittering as the Weaver shifts back into the dark a little bit, their eyes going under light. You may go on.
Well, we learned that the Federation has taken our father.
I see.
And, she kind of looks back and forth between the other two folks and just without the confidence that Valentine normally gives her is just kind of unsure and just finishes by saying, and they wanted us to do something in exchange for some preferential treatment, I suppose, with him. I assume you are not aware of this.
Federation matters tend to be outside my purview. I am occasionally aware of the comings and goings of major figures, and such whispers tend to fall upon my ears a bit later than I would like, but they do tend to distribute about here. Say, if a bounty hunter were coming to look for someone in particular, that would be something that would reach my ears, but the happenings of nobles and officials, unless they are in the truly upper echelon, are something that don't tend to reach me. Your father, in particular, if I am to understand correctly, was part of an independent nation. Thus,
He was.
I would have no true way of hearing, though I suppose there have been rumors of the trade having a bit of an issue in that region. Did facilitate things, after all. What is it that you ask of me?
Well, given that holding up our end of the bargain is kind of up in the air, just assistance in seeing him home safely, I suppose would be the request. There was apparently some sort of Federation operative playing at the card games. That
And
at least we're not sure who it was.
and we we don't know the outcome of that particular encounter
Exactly.
happened. So any news in regarding that would also be appreciated. Seeing as it's not only our party member, but
Indeed.
We're simply asking for news of loved ones as well. I would quite like to be able to check in on my family as well.
Souza, that can be done. Lyra, regarding your father, I'm uncertain that I can promise that I will be able to safely liberate him and give him the freedom he once had. If he were to return to his previous state of freedom, he would need to join the Star Chasers, and the nation would as well.
Right.
That is the only way I can ensure that he will be safe. If he is in agreement, then I can do this. However, I cannot wish away the wills of an entire planet of people.
Of course.
I can
suppose-
secure his safety, and he would be a fugitive, but it would make returning home all the more impossible.
Right.
I can
suppose
see
I'm just a little bit worried over the possibility of, well, learning of this, and then the following day potentially, well, the fate of my sister.
an invisible hand will gently touch Lyra's shoulder as Ashala will then move up to then basically take the position of where that hand would normally be. Kind of giving a reassuring look of, we haven't heard anything yet. Let's wait and see.
Right.
She is far more difficult to kill than most who have tried have given her credit for.
No, You're
Indeed.
not wrong there.
I am doubtful that a Vonda heist would be so easily defeated. I am certain that things will go well. Though, I have heard of an altercation at the very most. The outcome of it is not quite certain. The last thing I had heard was that there was a bit of smoke coming from the top floor. But, given that Finia has been seen, I imagine that not too much has gone wrong.
Thank you for the assurance.
At the very least, Lyra, we do have to go back there if we were we do have to go back to report to her anyway.
Right.
This
right.
might be a good idea to talk to her about what happened when we do.
No,
Assuming
you're
we hear
right.
nothing.
So I just rolled a fun little wisdom save. See
Interesting.
if I would act on certain aphrodisiac.
No, let me reiterate. It's just there to speed up your metabolism. It doesn't actually do anything.
I know, but the placebo effect is a hell of a drug. I'm going to try and keep it tame, and say that if we're asking for things that seem impossible without a wish, spending some time and meeting you under less life or death, high stakes occurrences would be rather nice as well. Just gonna have her try and shoot her shot.
She really did just shoot her shot.
Roll a persuasion check with disadvantage.
You know what?
Roll two
Fair.
20s, go.
Fair. Come on.
You are a charisma
I
character.
built this character.
Just keeping in mind, the dog's gonna be disappointed.
Look, she has 2 hands. And the Weaver presumably has at least 4, if I'm to understand how spiders.
Oh my God.
That's a 25.
That's so fucking good.
Oliver currently
Yes,
thinking through so much.
Oliver's brain. Okay, time to initiate a relationship triangle. I was not expecting this.
You see 2 red eyes appear once more from the magical darkness. And you see them squint and just sort of stare for a moment, looking you up and down.
I think Zuza is also surprised that she said that.
Perhaps it would be nice to enjoy the more relaxing things of life once things have changed. But that is a distant prospect. I appreciate your interest, however. And the eyes return back to the dark. Ah, yes, one last thing. Be certain that you stop by at some point to visit my resident armorers. I did mention that you do have 2 individuals who could perhaps work on your weapons, your armor. Isimbard may prove difficult, but I'm certain if you're persistent enough, you will get some assistance with him. Is there anything else?
I think that's about it. We delivered the goods, and now it's just a matter of when we move on to the next step.
Indeed, I leave that to your discretion.
All right.
Alright, well, that is certainly something we will
You're
get
distracted there, Susan.
to. I'm terribly
Right.
sorry for my outburst. I'm going to stop talking, I feel.
The drow guards are very, very stone-faced. But you do notice that there's a bit of a when you had outbursted earlier, but they don't seem to be particularly of any other expression. Maybe just a tiny little outburst that would have gone missed.
Oh, and dear Weaver, I do hope that your lovely companion that was assisting Valentine also makes it out of whatever the altercation was.
Indeed. In fact, I have trust that as long as the two of them are performing, they will have little to no trouble making it out safely.
And what was his name again?
What name have you heard? And you can almost hear the smile growing upon his face in the distance.
There were, I believe, 2 separate names on 2 separate introductions.
I wouldn't
Sounds
be
like he's
surprised
mad
if
at
you
many
heard a
names.
third, or perhaps a fourth.
I apologize, I was just trying to see if I could get a little detail out of you. That was rude of me.
Perfectly fine. Just remember that discretion is the name of the game in this business.
Of course.
In this case,
Right
you all
then.
are my confidants and you receive more information than ordinary, but given that these are details that will assist with your mission, I think it best to let the details continue along with you. If you have no clue, then your enemies will have no idea either, should they ever need such information.
Right.
In that case, I bid you all farewell, and I shall return to my rest.
She nods and turns.
Still too embarrassed to say anything. Just gonna nod and turn.
I'll look to Zuza, just giving her like the wide grin, like, internet, huh?
I don't know until she says anything in her brain when she is and isn't being telepathic, so Zuza just thinks very loudly at her, like, I don't know why I said that. Please kill me. Oh no.
And here you go teasing me about me playing around with Lyra.
What?
When you accidentally forget you leave her crush in the voice chat.
I feel like someone's thinking about me.
You have the sudden urge to scratch your nose and itch your
Yeah.
ear.
Well, I suppose. I feel like we shouldn't return to the casino today, at the bare minimum.
No,
So,
I would say definitely a day or two.
just
If
drink-
Finia wanted to find you, she would find you. Have faith
Fair
in
enough.
that.
Plus, it gives us a chance to examine the spoils of our victory.
Right. Shall we head back to, apparently our usual place?
I suppose so.
That might be best. It'll give me some time to tinker around with the new toys I got for Valentine and myself.
I'll
Okay,
take a
so
look
back
at the
to
books.
Moondrop as opposed to visiting anywhere else.
I think so.
I
Okay.
can't think of any place.
You make the journey back to the standard fleet and you find yourself back on the top side, coming from the mines, and you proceed into the lower districts to be back to the Moondrop Tavern. As you enter the Moondrop Tavern, you notice that Amber is sitting and just kind of working in the back, not necessarily talking with anyone, and it's fairly quiet, the same usual 2 or 3 drunkards that are normally quiet and sitting in their own individual spots. Amber notices you walk in and kind of and gestures over to a somewhat tall man, standing somewhere between maybe the higher ends of 6 foot to maybe even 7 feet tall. You notice that he is wearing a dark cloak, but it's bulky enough that you imagine he has some sort of gear underneath, and he's far away from any of the windows, so it's a bit darker than you would imagine. Ashal, make a perception, insight, or investigation check, whichever is higher for you.
My highest would actually be investigation, funnily enough. With a 26?
26. As you approach the mysterious man, you recognize that he's actually wearing a glamored cloak. It's similar to your glamored studded leather. However, the cloak's intended use is to blend in with others. It doesn't let you pick what you are wearing. It just sort of reacts to the environment, and it just almost knows what disguise would be best. It's almost a very, very higher level version of what you would be using.
So kind of like a fusion between the glamored studded and a cloak of elven kind.
Yes, essentially.
That's neat.
You also recall in particular that a glamored cloak was actually intentionally designed in the past for working with military groups. You would find that several individuals would wear a cloak and almost blend into their own sort of crowd that they could use to move within an environment and just blend in, and you could have entire forces of soldiers kind of moving in these places completely unnoticed. But if you are an ally, it actually will reveal what is hiding, and as you approach, the man's cloak begins to fade, and you realize that this man clearly seems to consider you an ally of some kind. Fades as if it never truly was there, revealing a somewhat impressive set of breastplate armor and his interesting features. The man has long white hair that covers almost half of his face, the other half showing something of a stern, focused expression behind a single golden eye. He appears human in nature, but his height would suggest otherwise to you. Greetings. Forgive me, Is there not 4 of you?
One of us is currently dealing with a situation from a job we've just left. We'll likely hear her either later today or after.
If you wouldn't mind, and he just slowly shows you his hands and reaches into his scarf that is wrapped around his neck, a white and blue scarf that was almost completely hidden by his cloak. But as he reaches in, he pulls out a tiny little book and he flips it open and flips forward quite a few pages and just kind of looks up and just nods and just puts a little check mark next to it and closes the book, tucking it back away. I see. Well, my name is Quilton. I'm a friend of your companion, Pendragon. Don't worry, he hasn't given all of you away. We just happened to go back a ways. For reasons I can't quite explain, I happen to know that you are planning to travel to the Chaos Rift in Wild Space. My companion and I were hoping that we could travel with you to that place. We have our own supplies and equipment, and we would simply just need your services to travel there. Looking around, you don't happen to see anyone else in the room. Everyone make a perception check.
Let's see. Perception.
21.
Funnily enough, only 15.
24.
God damn.
And as you all are looking around, you don't see anyone down in the bar. However, all 3 of you catch the shiny glint of golden eyes up in the rafters. You notice a young, excited-looking girl. And you imagine she possibly couldn't be any older than perhaps 6 or 7. seems to have long elven ears, and a fluffy set of hair that you would imagine would just be absolutely impossible to go unnoticed traveling anywhere. But you notice that she's also sporting something of a little cloak. And as soon as she is spotted, she lets out a bit of a gasp and goes back into an angle where you can't quite see her, but it's evident that she was looking quite excited to see all of you to some degree. Forgive her, she's excitable.
Well,
I think I was just about the same when I was her age, so.
despite my reputation for the contrary, we don't really bite. She's more than welcome to amble her way down there.
She may choose to keep her distance for now. She takes a bit to warm up to people.
Very well. I would like to let Zots just go on up to say hi, see how she reacts.
Go ahead and roll animal handling.
Alright. Alright, so. Is this easier being able to talk with him?
You know what? Yeah, let's go with sure, and you can have advantage for that.
Okay. 18?
18. As that's kind of flutters his way over, he seems to kind of just rest on the banister, and the little girl pokes her head back out, and seems to slowly walk over, and she doesn't quite reach her hand out, but she puts her hand at a distance, where Zots can sort of freely move up on his own and sniff her. And as soon as he does, he seems to be quite pleased. He doesn't seem to want to talk to her, actually. He seems almost a bit intimidated if you can recognize any of his body posture. But as she sort of approaches gently, she cups him very gently. And go ahead and roll an insight check.
Alright. That's only an 8.
As far as you can tell, she seems to get along quite well with Zots. And she very, very gently pulls him in and sort of just cradles him in her arms. And she slowly makes her way down. She takes a bit of time as she needs to reach up one hand to hold onto the banister and make her way down the stairs, taking extra care to hold on to Zots. But she comes down and she walks over and sort of covers herself a bit behind the tall man. But yes, my request was simply that. It was a request. Should you not be willing to bring us on your adventure, I understand it's something of a dangerous trip. We would be understanding. Though I'm certain we could be of some assistance. On the journey, at the very least.
May I ask, perchance, why you're wishing to go to the plane of chaos?
My life is something of a labyrinth. A series of mazes and pathways that the two of us must take to get from point A to point B. In this case, in order for me to make any progress, I must travel there to begin a new labyrinth with this little one. Everyone can roll an insight check if they like.
I will certainly attempt, even though I'm not great at these.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 23 for me.
Lily and Ashala, he's not being entirely forthcoming, that you can't tell if he's lying. You just get the impression that he's not quite telling you everything. He's speaking in very grand generalities, which is not quite what you were expecting.
Well, I can't say I know exactly how friendly a chaos thrift would be, but I do think it necessary to ask if you can hold your own in a fight, as I'm sure one will one will happen.
If we were to end up in a combat scenario, I'm certain that the two of us will be able to hold our own. This little one here especially would be able to protect herself. Me, on the other hand, I'm more of a storyteller than a fighter, but I do have my own experience when needed.
After that
Lily and
comment- Okay,
oh yeah, for the two of you, you actually find that he's being very, very overly humble with himself.
I was also going to ask if I can make an Arcana check just on the vibe of the girl. Because considering that he said she can hold her own,
Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
it says she must be inherently quite magical. 20.
Do you have detect magic?
Yes, it is technically from racial, so it's only like once per day, but I'm pretty sure druids learn it, which means, yeah.
I feel like having this is just me as a dungeon master. I feel like having detect magic not as a ritual spell is one of the most absurd things in this game, considering how valuable of a spell it is, and it's one of those things that you're probably going to use it multiple times.
Yeah. So yeah, druids do have it as it's on their spell list. So, I don't have it prepared, but that would mean that she would know it.
For the purposes of this, you can enhance your Arcana check with detect magic and make it sort of like a guaranteed. And as your eyes sort of fill up with the detection of magical auras, you see a hue that you're not quite familiar with in terms of magical prowess. And you're familiar with seeing various ranges of magical power. But this is a color that you're not quite familiar with, and you're surprised that it's such an interesting hue and it's so small. And as you sort of just look away for just a moment, you realize it's not just the little hue that's surrounding the girl. The whole room is filled with a hue. And you look outside, and the hue seems to continue on out into the street.
Jesus.
You start to question if this is a little girl at all.
She's a mannequin. I think just kind of seeing this energy, Lyra is immediately taken aback by just the sheer volume of magic. Just as an aside, this is more so just like flavor, but for Lyra, like her magic, like yes, she is a druid, but it's less so nature magic and more so true like arcane magic and how it sort of functions. So seeing like this kind of just true just display is very surprising to her.
Well, I would like to try and put my best foot forward. I'll do a little bow and curtsy to her.
She gives a very adorable one back, still hiding behind the man.
I can't say that I have much to go off of, but Vods is something of a family diplomat, so I will trust his impression of you. I'm Zuza.
She lets out a little giggle, and just like almost like very, very pleased. The mysterious man with her just sort of gives a nod. She's a bit hesitant to mention her name, but she goes by Mist.
A pleasure then.
Lyra is my name.
Ashala.
She gives a nod and gives a very, very polite bow to all three. A bit, seemingly still a bit hesitant to speak. Maybe not for any reason of fear of anything, but more just that she's a very, very minimally spoken little girl.
And Myth, if you would ever like to talk anything related regarding magic, I'd be more than happy to chat. She'll give her a little wink, a knowing wink.
Her eyes seem to just brighten and sparkle. Lyra, you actually gain an inspiration. You feel just an overwhelming just force of motivation, and just you're not quite certain as to what it is. But you just feel empowered.
Magic girl juice. That's not the right word. Holy shit.
Hmm.
Anyways, move on.
Anyways.
I hate when cute kids show up in RPGs because, like, I don't even have a biological clock. What the fuck is ticking?
Zuza, you actually notice that Zotz is like almost falling asleep.
Alright, I'll gingerly pick him up, make sure that he has food if he needs it, and he's welcome to climb back on and into her belfry whenever he finds it fitting.
He seems very, very comfortable, especially with all the attention he's receiving. Quilton takes out a small little stone, and he hands it over across the table. This is a sending stone. Whenever you're ready to make the journey, just feel free to call upon us, and we'll make our way over to where your ship is docked, and we'll be ready to travel with you.
Of course. At the very least, we do owe your companion for aiding us in our recent outing, so seems only fair.
He gives a bit of a nod. If I might ask, what name did he introduce himself as?
It has been some time.
Of the
Seems like
names that you have heard of specifically Michael Jenkins and Randall Pendragon.
Well, that's the thing. He gave us two very different names, so hard to tell, but Randall was the most recent.
I can
You
only
notice
assume neither is true, though.
the little girl is tugging upon Quilton's scarf that's like going down from his armor. Are they talking about Mr. Howell? He gives her a very, very warm smile and gives a nod. Yes, they're talking about Mr. Howell.
That's
She has a bit of a glint in her eye once more, and she comes out of cover and just sort of sits around the table. She needs a bit of help to get up into her chair, but she sits next to Quilton. Yes, forgive me for my unorthodox methods of reaching out. I just figured this would be the optimal method for discussing interesting scenarios at the most efficient way. I have had seen a fair bit of travels on my own. I think it would be good to travel with people I am certain will be effective and safe.
Of course, of course. I must say, of all of the unexpected surprises we've had as of late, this is amongst the far more agreeable, so I needn't think you worry too much in that regard.
Besides, our mutual benefactor is a good judge of character from what I can tell. I'm sure if there was any uncertainty, he wouldn't have arranged this.
Indeed. He is an incredibly kind individual. I'm excited to see how things go with your quest with him.
We hope it goes well too. Although we do need to wait for our companion.
Personally, I wouldn't worry too much about that. I have a feeling Valentine will be quite safe.
Believe
So
in
you
this, Randall, then.
You
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear between the two of you.
you first, sweetie.
Yeah, sure. I was just gonna say, so you believe in this Pendragon, then?
I've known him by a couple of names. He's want to change his name on a whim. Though, I believe I do have the true name. I'm certain he would be quite displeased if I were to say it by name.
The entire player group of trans feminine people nod knowingly.
That is understandable at the very least.
Yes, he is an interesting fellow. I'm certain that he will be of great assistance to you. Perhaps he may even join us on this adventure, though I imagine that is entirely up to you.
I mean, again, we do owe him his assistance if he does wish.
From what I understand, he did do an awful lot in assistance in the game from what little I saw.
Ah yes, the card game, that's right. I wonder how that ends up. He sort of looks off into the distance for a moment and shakes his head. I'm certain that things will be going quite well. He's always been exceptional with his cards and his divination. Certainly not one to play against if you're looking for a bit of extra funds. That is a mistake I will not be repeating.
Cannot say I blame you. Considering how well they were playing before I left, I would imagine they'll be doing quite fine leading up to what we heard last.
Indeed. Quilton sort of just turns down towards Mist. Are you getting tired, little one? Oh, only a little. Well, then in that case, I suppose it would be good for you to get your rest. You do need your sleep more than anyone else. She gives Go ahead.
Oh no, enough excitement for one day, I take it.
Oh, yes, it's so nice to see you all again. And she cuts herself off. And Quilton gives her a bit of a look, but turns. Never mind her. She's quite tired at the moment. Come, shall I carry you off? And she gives a very, very tiny nod. And he lifts her up very, very gently and stands at his full height, towering over the rest of the party. But you get the impression that he's incredibly gentle. I bid you all farewell. Please, if should you have any questions, speak into the stone. It's only one way, but I have my own way of returning communication, though I can only answer in short bursts. I need to see this little one off to bed.
Of course.
And he begins to make his way back, and as he sort of steps away from close range, his cloak turns back as you're not within the ally range. And he just turns into a man with a very, very dark cloak walking back into his room in the distance.
Interesting fellow, that one. And quite the magic item.
I'll have to inquire about that, I suppose.
Meeting a lot of people with mysterious background.
I'm sure we'll learn more soon enough if we're going to be going to the Chaos Rift.
I would certainly hope so.
Although, while we're at least waiting on that front, did we have any other tasks that we needed to do that we can do in our spare time leading up till tonight?
I suppose we could go about seeing exactly what the items we found and their functions.
Oh, I was referring to some side tasks we've been neglecting.
Like Evan. Didn't we need to get Evan something?
He has some stuff that he has been working on. He did drop you all off at the underside, but he is back at the docks now.
Just vaguely remember Evan asking for like, it was either like a
memory
like a
cores or something.
Memory core
Memory
something.
cluster, yes.
Yeah.
Memory cluster.
It is a big crystal rock that is somewhat refined, very geometric type shape. It did look from his description, it did look a bit similar to the items that were in the big blue crystal box
God damn it.
in Finia's room. However, those were, you're not quite certain if those matched up one-to-one, but they were very similar in nature.
Okay.
Well, is there some manner of expert we could go to for such identification of where we would even find that to begin with?
I'm sure if I go back down, I can probably ask around, but not knowing how much it'll be, well, assuming it was anything like we saw in the vaults, although I wasn't quite sure of the grade, perhaps I might be able to discern something similar.
We can only hope, I suppose.
Did Esben specify like what kind of quality we're looking for here?
This is one of those incredibly rare, almost impossible to find items.
Okay.
There are most certainly merchants who would have such an item. Though they would probably be asking for quite an expensive sum.
Well, considering that Esben did come into a very notable sum, which depending how much was used, I'm sure we could use that.
Yes, I do believe our funds are a little in question considering Valentine was gambling with them.
Hmm.
I mean, he said that he won, so
Perhaps
was
we
winning.
should still.
Last we
was winning.
checked.
Right.
Perhaps we should still wait on that then.
Then I think, if it's agreeable, these books that we managed to procure from the vault, I think it might be a good idea to, well, take a better dive into what exactly they are.
If they are what I think they are, then yes, definitely. Although, just, do some caution.
Of course.
From your detect magic still active, you can tell that these aren't in any danger. They're not cursed or anything. And just taking a look at each of them, they seem to be sort of instruction manuals by legendary champions and adventurers of the past. Regarding the strength manual, there is an image of an incredible barbarian who is shown leaping from the ground to grapple onto a flying dragon.
Good heavens.
On the dexterity novel, there is it is a black cover, but as you sort of twist it around in the light, you can very faintly see the outline of an individual hiding in the shadows. On the Constitution manual, there is an image of 3 people who are standing on pedestals. In particular, you find that there is a knight who is sort of just crumpled onto the ground, like holding himself up with his arms and his knees. There
Tommy,
is
survivor.
there is a exhausted and battered and beaten human in leather armor who is just sort of slumped on a rock. And at the very top, there is an absolutely bloodied and beaten dwarf with his arms at his sides, standing proudly, seemingly unfazed by all the harm he's taken. The intelligence novel is covered in all sorts of arcane runes and circles, and it seems to have all sorts of ciphers on it, and it seems that the only way to really read this one is to decode all of the ciphers, though you imagine it wouldn't be super difficult. As far as the wisdom book goes, there is an image of a incredibly peaceful looking monk folded, resting on a pool of water, and the pool of water is incredibly still. And on the charisma novel, you notice that there is a singular man that is speaking to an entire army. They don't seem to be a friendly army, however, you notice that individuals in the front seem to be cheering on behalf of this person. And upon reading one of these books, the magical effects that are imbued within it will be bestowed upon the individual who reads it and takes in the training for it, and increase their skill by 2 in the ability score. But it can only be conferred once.
Alright.
We'll have to think about how to use that properly.
Just gonna reach for that charisma book, sort of looking like it. I mean, if no one has objections.
I mean, I'm not the face of the group, so I don't have exactly any objections to that.
I certainly don't have anything in the way of charisma, so.
Just to clarify, you guys
Sweet.
didn't grab the any of the jewelry. You looked at the jewelry and said, interesting, okay.
That would
That's
be
fair.
correct. That is what happens.
Just making sure.
Look, you gave us very little time, and when I
did.
tried to explore something, you made my skin peel off.
Oh. Well, I'm honestly rather exhausted from the day. Does anybody want to have at least a round of drinks before we go back to the ship?
Yes, that sounds lovely, I think.
A round of drinks, and then I'll at least make my rounds just to see if I can at least locate at least a singular memory cluster.
Right. Sorry, my mind's a little, elsewhere.
Well, we've
It's-
all been through lots, and sounds like still are going through quite a bit.
I can understand you're worrying about Valentine.
And as you bring up Valentine, all of you receive a psionic resonance. Is everyone all right? I've delivered this bumbling idiot over to our good friend Captain Velvet, and now I'm thinking I want to go and relax and have a drink. I'll tell you all about it once I return.
Well, speak of the devil.
So, Alexander was the spy the whole time?
Yes, I'll need to tell you all about it. It's very interesting, though I don't imagine we'll be getting much out of him anytime soon.
I do hope you're remembering, DM, to record the exact wording, because from the quality you've shown of narration before, I expect Maris to be able to word for word say everything you're saying when we see her side of the story next episode.
Yes. I have been
God.
very, very careful.
Well, can you make sure to tell her that it's lovely to hear from her? We'll be back at the ship in an hour or so.
I'll be sure to let her know.
Oh, good. All right, and I suppose I shall bring something with me then. Ta-ta, see you all soon.
You can see Lyra just kind of like lets her posture go, as since snakes have to have their posture like very much like in the core at all times. Just finally lets herself just lean back and just like, okay.
Can you calm yourself now, little Star Nova?
I suppose.
And I'm
Alright.
the one that gets teased for this, I see.
Wait.
Oh, please.
I mean,
I'm the youngest of the group. I feel I'm entitled to have something of an embarrassing adolescence.
how old are you, Zuza?
Well, we talking in humanoid years or slightly unnatural?
I've only measured myself in humanoid years, so I suppose we're going with that.
Let's see. I suppose I'm at least somewhere in my 20s. It's hard to keep track.
Well, likely all around the same then.
Out of character, she is 19.
And
But
she won't be the
this
youngest.
This is also with the standards of orc and halfling development.
That is fair.
So she doesn't even remember that she's lying. Sometimes you go into a torpor for a few weeks. You lose track of time. It's completely normal.
Lyra, now that you're relaxing,
Uh-huh.
go ahead and roll me a history check.
Okay. Still technically have that D6 I'm sitting on. We'll see if it needs.
Yeah.
Let's add a D6. Or the 6 from the D6.
The 18.
Yeah.
As you are just kind of settling in and relaxing, the stress from the day and Valentine and everything are all just easing away. You remember the book that you had drifted your hand over, the one that filled you with that sense of dread? And it suddenly just occurs to you, I've felt that before. Zeus's sibling made me feel that exact same way.
Oh dear.
Was that one of the books you took?
No, we didn't take that book. That was the trapped book.
Okay.
And as you are searching your memory frantically now, you recall that the book was something that you had heard about in the library that was described as an incredibly powerful book on forbidden magics. One of them in particular discussed transforming into a enormous serpent, a leviathan, in a manner that could consume an entire star. But as you remember, the book also mentioned something about blood magics, and you suddenly are getting the realization that perhaps that may have been a connection, at least to what you had seen back that day in the arena.
I think, kind of putting these pieces together in her mind, she would likely kind of just sit on it and just not speak anything to the class, and just
Thank
kind
you.
of
On behalf of Zuza, thank you for not
Uh,
giving her another reason to have a panic attack.
yeah, it's just kind of going to sit there and think about it, just as a generally very arcane being. Just, there are so many different kinds of magic in the world that she has yet to even delve into.
Does anyone have
There's
anything
one
else they'd
other
like to do?
thing. There's one other thing that bothers me somewhat, though.
What might
When,
that be?
well, when we were speaking with Mist there, did you notice that she mentioned meeting us again, just briefly, before she caught herself?
What? I hesitate to use the word child, given, well, the aura of her magic emanated throughout this entire bar and well beyond into the streets.
Yes.
Whatever she is certainly not a standard living being. I don't know why she would have said again.
The only
But-
one that I could think of would have been Sparkles.
Well, you are correct. And she kind of sits there for a bit. But Sparkle, maybe I'm jumping to conclusions here. This girl had green hair.
Yes.
Mac also has green hair and is apparently one of these astral elf dragon somethings.
True.
If I were to wager a guess, she would be one of them.
That would make sense. We've only seen 2 of them before, haven't we?
Right. Now, why the hell they would want to go into a chaos rift is beyond me.
Mm.
But, well, a job's a job, and Asala, I do believe you wanted to go, or at least had planned to eventually go one as well.
It is indeed somewhere I was told that I'd find out more about myself. Yes.
Well, more help is always appreciated.
Hmm. Hmm.
But regarding again, to circle back, no, I have no idea what that meant. It could be Sparkles, but
Why the subterfuge then?
I don't think Sparkle's mother would let them out of her sight
Hmm.
so quickly.
Very true.
So the sparkles, you mentioned that they are a dragon?
Yes,
Oh, I forgot that that was before your time with us. Goodness.
Sparkle was a small crystal dragon, hence the name of our vehicle that we rescued from being sold. Well, of course, there's plenty of illegal dealings going on here, but it was rather an awful situation, so we took it upon ourselves to, well, get him out of there.
Hmm.
Yes,
And-
we have been known to do many legally and morally dubious things, but I like to think that was one of our more admirable moments.
Well, at the very least, if they are in fact who you believe they are, then I don't see no reason why we shouldn't let them come along. If they are in fact capable of handling themselves now.
I am beyond incredibly sure that whoever this Wisp was the name, sorry? Mist.
I think it's
Mist.
missed, yes.
Missed, yes.
Mist. They can take care of themselves. I've never seen magic of that power.
Very well. It's certainly been a long day. Oh,
Mm.
but don't tell Valentine about the guns until she gets back.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
She's
that
gotta
would be
have
a
some
lovely
surprises.
surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Valentine's gonna be so excited.
Who knows? Maybe she can actually make me a pair of pistols. After all, a rifle's a bit much for me.
Mm.
That said, let's get those drinks and I'll be off.
Right. I'm going to go back to the ship and begin to study some books.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I'll spend whatever time I have remaining in the day at least looking into finding a memory cluster for our resident Warforge.
Yeah, I think I'll try and help out with that, since if nothing else, I'm good for haggling, and then any leftover time going to be starting to look at that charisma book.
So we got the info gatherer and the face of this little duo. I think this works out.
Hmm.
Lyra, what will you be doing?
She's going to likely just kind of start reading through the books herself, making sure the wisdom one for her. But otherwise, I imagine she's kind of just like going to just kind of go about duties as assigned. She's not planning to like go out or anything.
In that case, I believe that is almost everything we had. We could go and do some haggling for some interesting magical items. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check with advantage, Ashala, as you are going to go search through the black market.
With advantage. Nice. I will happily take that 25.
25. You
Oh,
happen
by
to
the
know...
way, we're sorry. Were we able to do a short rest at any point?
Yes.
Okay, good.
You all make your way towards the marketplace. And it isn't long until Ashala is able to sort of ask around for these exact specifications that she's looking for. And you find yourself coming across a incredibly tall blue woman. You recognize this as a mercane, one of the more prominent merchant guilds. They are an entire race of traders. They exist to trade. They live to haggle. Their entire life is being a merchant. This woman seems to specialize in particular in fine stones and gems. You can't really tell, as neither of you are necessarily arcanically attuned, but you can just feel just almost like radiation coming off of her stand out in the square. Yes, come look at the many things. I beg you, come look and see what I offer.
Well, I hate to make someone beg.
You are quite the noble face. You could do with something that suits you. A fancy thing for a fancy lady, of course. And she gives you a very, very polite bow, and her hands drift over her wares. And you see all sorts of glittering, shining objects. All sorts of jewelry and magical items. You do see several stones behind the woman, one of which actually happens to be the item you're looking for.
Well, before I go about shopping for my own amusements or needs, we're actually looking to price something out for a acquaintance of ours, a companion, and I start describing the data core that we're looking for.
Oh, so you're asking specifically about it?
Yes,
Memory cluster specifically.
a memory.
Yes. Yes, I believe I do have something similar to that. Let me take a moment. I believe I actually do have something you might be looking for. And she turns around and takes the blue, large, glowing crystal and sets it behind her. And turns and goes, "Is this quite what you're looking for?" And she puts her hand under her chin.
I also would like, just from the start of this exchange, or not even the start, but rather the moment like she gets the crystal and brings it over, I would like to do detect thoughts, just to get a preliminary read of her thoughts as she drops it in front of us.
Okay. As she places this object in front of you, You kind of get a feeling of her thoughts. Yes, blue and blue crystal, something of a large size, very geometric. You could be looking for this in particular, though I imagine there might be the other one, though I don't know if I have that. I don't know if any of us have it, though I might know the person who does, and if I can get it off of him, I might be able to get it at a better price. And just the thoughts are going at a million miles an hour of just the different ways of trying to make the deal with you. They don't want you to make the deal with anyone else.
Okay, that's good to know. By the way,
so
what do we have in the way of group funds? Because I currently have 46 gold to my name on my own.
I mean, personal spending 1,125, but we do also have whatever Esbern does have in his coffers.
Oh, you also didn't quite catch it, but Valentine also did mention that she was able to get all of her money back, but unfortunately she didn't make any extra money because of the whole shootout situation.
Oh.
Which is fair.
As you reach into your pockets, which have been sewn in with the magic pockets, you feel your hand enter in a massive chest of gold and you realize, I have so much gold, I don't know if it's going to matter.
Oh, that's good.
Ashala, make a wisdom check.
I will do a wisdom check. Distinctly average.
Oh, sorry. Wisdom save, if that has any extra benefit for you.
Oh, well, it wouldn't make a difference. It's going to be the same thing.
Okay. You see the Mercane just sort of...
Unless it happens to matter in regards to the psionics, I mean. I don't know like, what specifically is affecting me.
No, nothing in particular. You
okay.
Can't quite tell. You just feel a sort of rush go over you as you're kind of just like focusing on the detect thoughts as you're kind of reading this person. They're just throwing a million thoughts at you as to how they're probably going to be able to haggle with you.
Well, at the very least, from what I gathered initially, it sounded like that if they did have it, they would want to sell it.
Yes, they do.
And they're at least looking for it, so...
Yes, they have placed the one in front of you and are curious if that's specifically what you're looking for.
Is it?
Judging from what Esband showed us, I think, did he give us like a kind of like hologram kind of look, or...?
He did give you a hologram look at it, and this one does look similar. You're not 100% certain.
Would it be possible to, out of character because I can't remember, would it be possible to bring Eben down here to verify?
Eben is currently back at the ship at the dock.
At the very least, if we at least know that she at least might have the item, it'd just be a simple case of going to grab him after the fact and seeing for ourselves. So I don't think it matters too much.
Well,
Yes, if this is what you're looking for, then I believe I can perhaps set it aside for a small fee. You know how it is in the marketplace. People will come in and then as soon as they step away, someone else comes in and buys the damn thing. Always so unfortunate when someone is so interested in what it is. In fact, I'm not quite certain if this is the entire right one. What you describe actually has several variants. There are memory crystals, memory shards, and memory clusters. This one, to my understanding, is a memory cluster, though I'm not certain it is of the refined level that you would discuss. I may know of someone who has it.
Well, perhaps we should speak with him directly. I know it can be such a pain having to act as middleman, and I'm sure your time would be much better spent if we were to speak with them directly rather than forcing you to get a cut in as well.
Roll a persuasion check.
Okay. 19.
Yes. Now, you see, the reason why I would advise against doing such a thing is that this actually is just a display item. And then she sort of like waves her hands over it like she's doing like a little roguish trick, and she pulls out a different one that's actually glowing a lot brighter. I always like to make sure that my customers are more discerning. The ones who come by and are just looking for trash will buy simply just that, trash. But it seems that you are someone who's willing to be careful about this sort of thing. That's the type of return customer I'd like to see. If I were to just give away some lesser variant of the item, I likely would have to deal with that individual more, and we would have repeat business. But you know what you're looking for, and we can make this very, very simple, and you may know that I will have the things that you may need in the future.
Smart play.
Now see, such a thing is incredibly valuable. Things like these only grow on one such planet, very, very far away. In fact, I don't even quite know the name myself. If I were to ask my siblings, I doubt they would know it either. And as you may know, we are incredibly well-traveled peoples. This, in particular, I could do away with it for no less than, say, 100,000 gold. You must understand the great power that such a thing would have, especially were you to utilize it in the correct manner.
Quite.
And
that being-
I mean, there are an awful lot of people that we've only just begun searching. I can't help but wonder if any of them would be happy to undercut you.
Make a deception check.
Okay. That's only a 9. It is genuine wondering, though.
It is
for
true.
what it's worth.
As far as you are aware, getting it directly, you imagine that Eben did describe that it was likely going to be unbelievably expensive. These are once-in-a-lifetime sorts of things. And such an item is able to empower an entire construct, and you imagine that for that type of price, for a construct on the level of Eben, you imagine that people have spent almost as much on their different types of golems. So you're not certain if it's an entirely fair price, but you imagine that getting it elsewhere is going to be very, very difficult.
Considering the convenience.
Do we have enough money as a group?
In total, Eben's coffers include 254,904 gold pieces.
Ah. Well,
Every time you say that number, I'm just.
I keep forgetting. Let's see. Well, regardless, as you can clearly see, I'm not particularly one for as discerning an eye as I might hope to be. Rather, I would love to have our expert take a look at it, if that's quite all right. So, granted, as you said, I suppose that may come at some additional cost.
Indeed, should you wish, I could also have an individual who is an expert in the field come as well, if that would ease your concerns. And I assure you, this individual is most partial.
Really? And who might they be? You sound to be of someone of quite well known and renowned, if that's the case.
Indeed, I know quite the interesting blacksmith. He specializes in making magical artifacts and items. He would know certainly as to what this item could be, though if he's unable to come out himself, I suppose I could have one of his lessers come, but they would certainly know of it as well, given the potential things that you could build with this. I shall
And
see about
is-
this, if you would
is
rather
that
call upon
the
your expert.
blacksmith that we know of as well, or
You're uncertain they didn't specify.
okay. Well, I mean, out of character, I feel like I trust Eben to know what exactly he's looking for.
It
no,
may be,
uh,
Zuza. I can
yeah.
at least stick around, and if you wish to go and grab him and have him come over to inspect his shopping item.
Hmm. I don't suppose there would be any objections to that, looking to the merchant.
And while we wait, you and I can discuss getting such a young and fit Githyanki the proper silver that she deserves. And she slides her hands over, and several silver pieces of jewelry appear out of her robes.
And with that, I
There's
think
no harm
I
in browsing.
should probably start heading on over to Eden.
It's a very, very long walk to go all the way back up and then back down.
I mean, I don't have much of an option.
As you go up, Eben, as you go back up and you find your way back to the ship, you see a familiar kobold is actually up on the top deck.
You vampire lady, you big bites. You're back. What do you want?
And you recognize this individual to be Chex, your former gunner.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chex. I wasn't expecting to see you there.
Yes,
I'm
Big
just-
Tin Man calls me. Wants to build big guns. Big guns for shooting, yes.
Oh, wonderful. I was just going to speak with him.
In several pieces down in the basement. Checks. Just joking.
But that's
Or am
wonderful.
I?
I would have had to kill you.
I would like to see that. Checks.
And he goes back to what he's working on. You see that the guns around the ship are actually looking a bit different. They seem to have some type of golden circle and metal kind of framing all around where you would ordinarily rotate them. And it seems like the parts that you would ordinarily have for having the crew rotate the ballistas and the cannons are actually not there. And the only thing that seems to be there is just the ammo storage, not even a firing mechanism. And as you head down to the lower decks, you find Eben is sitting in the Spelljammer. His eyes still glowing a bit dimly, as he's not quite at 100% as he was previously. But you notice that Eben is a little bit integrated into the Spelljammer throne. Ah, Zuza, you have returned.
Oh, yes,
Are you
hope
well?
I wasn't. I am, thank you. I'm not interrupting something, am I?
We are currently enhancing the cannons on the Crystal Dragon. In this case, we are enhancing it so that the operator of the Spelljammer is able to aim and fire the cannons.
Ooh. Sounds marvelously useful.
All that is needed is someone to load the cannons.
Oh, wonderful. I was just coming back to let you know that I believe we may have found the data cluster that you were after. Just need you to confirm its authenticity at the merchant.
That I may be able to do. Shall we fly down? And you begin to feel the Spelljammer begin to lurch a little bit, and you hear Chex call out from the top deck.
Hey, Chex did not ask to be kidnapped. You pay Chex extra for trips.
Indeed, this will be arranged, Mr. Chex.
Okay.
And all three of you make the very, very quick journey down back to the lower side. As you make your way back into the underside, Eben following in tow, you notice that Ashala is wearing a silver tiara, has silver earrings, a silver necklace. You just couldn't help yourself with the persuasiveness of the mercane. You haven't quite bought it yet, but you're just trying it on.
Hey, look, I'm browsing, okay?
Oh no, silver is a good color for you. It matches your little galaxy quite well.
Would that I could grant you your silver sword, you would be the spitting image of a prophecy I read long time ago.
Oh, and what kind of prophecy is this?
Well, if I'm to understand correctly, there was to be a Gith who would reunite both of their peoples, the Gith Zerai and the Gith Yankee. They would wield a glowing sword, one black as the night, yet when drawn it has the light that would echo a sun. And they rode not upon a red dragon steed, but that of a crystal dragon.
A peculiar story. I wonder if any
Indeed.
such individual ever will ever exist.
Well, I'm not certain how familiar you are with your culture. You seem to be more local, if I had to guess. Definitely not one that's beholden to the customs of your people. You are unique, after all.
You wouldn't be wrong there, but that being said, I'm catching up.
In the case of what has been ongoing, my people are free to travel to Githyanki territory and do trading. In fact, they're some of our best customers. In the case of, as of recent, the Lady Vlakith has been slain and replaced by a Jastil Kithrak, a supreme commander of sorts. He believes himself willing to lead the Gith together, though I heard in the last 20 or years or so that he has gone and not quite united the Gith people as the way that they should be. Many of our Gith Zerai trading partners have seemingly disappeared or traveled further into the Chaos Rift, places we wouldn't dare to go.
No surprise there.
So much for bonding, but I suppose that's not the present concern. You, my friend, and she turns towards Evan. You are someone who looks like they could use a memory cluster. Am I mistaken? You are correct. May I see the object in question? And taking a very, very long, detailed glance at it, even summons Echo just to confirm and just like go over it. And they are able to confirm that it is in fact the one that they are looking for.
Well, there we go then. At least now we can finally move on with this particular step.
Indeed. Though given the price that I'm asking for, let's say, especially given the good company you've offered, I will perform this trade for a solid 90,000. And in interest, I will also include your little silver pieces.
It's mighty generous of you.
Yes.
End of the day, though, Esben, this is your spending money, so if you wish to get the memory cluster in question, feel free to.
Eben turns a bit hesitant almost. Is this the method we would like to choose to obtain the memory cluster?
Was my
If we
original
see no
intent.
other options.
The only other way I'd probably see about it is either getting into a place I'd rather not go back to right now, or going to the planet where they're from and refining it ourselves, which, you know, considering the expediency of our current method, I think it's worth the cost.
It is the party's funds, after all. I
You
am
have
here
done
simply to serve.
quite a lot, Eben, for the sake of the party, and you are a member of it as well, after all.
My, how kind of you. Such wonderful friends you have. Ones with very big pockets, after all. Evan seems almost hesitant to accept, but he understands that it's not something that's just for him. And he gives a nod. If we are in agreement.
Of course.
And then Evan is going to reach into his bag of holding and pull out a very large chest and plop it right onto the table. And the Mercane is just going to, eyes wide, I didn't expect that you were going to pull it out right here. And just sort of just clicks it open and just like looks around before opening it up, and then shrouds in a little bit of magical darkness as they pull up their robes a bit. That conceals just the stall, and they open it up to look, and the darkness fades away and the chest is closed. It's just very good. In this case, it's all yours. And the silvered items as well.
Appreciate it. I'm sure
Look
it'll be
forward
lovely
to
when
doing
I have to
business
use it at a
with you.
gathering.
Indeed, until next time. And the Mercane gives a very, very polite bow. And they actually slide a little card towards you with one of their extra hands. And it has a big hole punched out of it. And there are 9 holes that can be punched out. Seemingly a card to keep returning and doing business with the Mercane in general.
Does it say what the incentive is?
Not
on
quite,
the
but
card, or-
the Mercane are known for always treating their return customers well, and given their psionic nature, they're essentially a hive mind that has its own free will with each individual drone. You have made a very large portion of the hive very, very happy.
Ooh. I didn't realize it was a poppycule. Okay.
And yes, if that will be all, I suppose I shall have to see you until next time. Should you ever need any magical items, any interesting jewelry, do not hesitate to call for me once more. I shall be here.
Of course.
Gotcha.
And you all return to the ship. Lyra, you're actually in the ship, are you not?
I actually
Are
think
you-
she would have stepped out before this happened.
I can't recall if she was in the ship or she went to the,
Well, she did initially go to the ship. I DM'd you.
I
but
see,
She would
okay.
actually go out without telling anyone.
yes.
Ooh.
Oops. Yes. Going to the library. Yes, let's shift over towards Lyra. You are on your way towards the library.
So she is essentially just kind of thinking about these 2 essentially massive sources of magic that she's encountered just in the past day. Specifically the one that's like the dark, like blood magics, and that of mist. So I think, just as she, goes to sit down and do what she was going to say, the thoughts just don't leave the back of her mind. And so she'll just take a step out and just be like, well, I guess I'm gonna go search into this a little bit.
Okay.
And so she does. She goes to the library and will specifically ask about at least like Mist's side of things first, because the others is forbidden magic. It's probably not something you
Right.
just ask about.
Uh,
But just like trying to look into any sort of highly magical species that can look like children.
You actually go into the library and you find your bugbear friend, who is a librarian.
Ah, yes. Good to see you once more. What is that you're looking for today?
And you give him a very thorough explanation as my cat knocks over everything on my desk.
Classic.
Things with younger children. Interesting. Arcanely attuned children.
I've heard of something of the sort before, but Star Child is a myth after all. It's not. It's a storybook that inspires children to want to be better than they are. Well, perhaps if you do well enough on your grades, you will become a Star Child and you'll be very magical and special.
I feel like that's something that people have called me in times.
Right. Given your lineage, it is certainly possible, though.
Oh no, I don't
not too
believe that
familiar.
this is actually true for myself or anything of the sort. It's just, well, as you said, given who I am holding out her hands, it just kind of makes sense.
Somewhere Shallow just sneezes.
But as far as in novels and books go, histories, scientific journals, let me see what I can find. I unfortunately, I don't believe I'll be able to find much for you on the subject. Although I suppose naturally arcanically attuned individuals would be close second thing. What exactly are you asking? Why exactly are you asking? I'm just out of curiosity.
Oh, I was, well, asking as that I was interacting with someone that looked quite young, and when I looked at the sort of magical aura around them, well, to be frank, it surprised me in how it just seemed to radiate, well, 30 feet out of where this person was. Never seen a aura like that.
The bugbear kind of leans back a little bit and like adjusts his glasses to be a little bit closer.
You said that it extended outside of the street. Tell me, are you familiar with how more traditional magic is and the levels of magic and whatnot? You are a caster, of course, so I imagine you have some familiarity.
Yes. No, I have familiarity. I must say that I come from a rather non-magical place, so still trying to learn where I can.
Indeed. Well, in this case in particular,
Levels of magic range from 1 to 9, as you already know, though there are the exceptional beings that are able to cast 10th level and even beyond magic. Those individuals are considered demigods or even superheroes of the sort. Powerful individuals who can change reality at a whim, create devastating magics. If one would even argue that the storm that we're experiencing in space is actually possibly potentially the result of a god unleashing a higher level spell upon us. Some say that the Black Meteors are searching for Black Meteor, which is a 10th level spell of its own kind, something that could lay waste to an entire planet if it were used improperly. Given your description, do you recall what hue the young girl had?
She is hesitating pretty significantly at this statement.
Oh, you are able to sort of remember to some degree. At
No,
least.
I remember, but it's more so hesitating on giving away the identity of the person, like actual proper physical descriptions beyond
Hmm.
a childlike being. I believe it was like a jade, a greenish.
Jade, interesting. When I think of Jade, I think of a child, and I think of someone who's able to cast such magic. I think of a dragon, of course. I think of maybe not a metallic dragon, perhaps a gem dragon of some sort.
That was my thought as well.
I think you may be onto something. Perhaps I should recommend you some draconic novels of dragons transforming into people and taking their place amongst travelers going on adventures.
That would be perfect.
Ah, yes. The Hierarchy of Dragons. This is potentially the book that you're looking for, and he begins taking you along a long, winding path, and you go towards like the back of the library, and there, in almost like a back section, he has to like sort of unlock the door. Not quite forbidden magics, but more something that's incredibly rare. We only have one copy, and to even open the book is it's dangerous. Not dangerous in that someone could be hurt, but to lose such a rare and valuable book would be a disaster, would be a nightmare. Such things are incredibly invaluable. And he's just sort of just filling with all of the locks. While I work on this, is there anything else that you were looking for in particular? I apologize, I should have asked while I was walking earlier.
Oh no, it's all right. She thinks about the blood magic, and ultimately decides to not bring it up because she feels like she's already, talking a lot. The one thing I suppose couldn't hurt. Do you have any she sort of like blushes a little bit. Do you have any books on how to, oh, I guess like what? I'm sorry, I'm completely a bit of a mess here. A book, a romance novel.
Ah, a romance novel.
I know, quite different, but it was something's been eating at me a little bit.
Well, I suppose if one is seeking to romance a dragon in mortal form, it's quite doable to find something of the nature. Let me see. There was
Yes,
a
of
book I
course.
recall. I remember reading in my youth, The Boy and the Dragon Gay, which is actually not quite what you'd expect, but is actually more of the companionship between two individuals.
Oh, that's
Oh, they were
perfectly
just good
fine.
friends. You're telling me they were just good friends, sir?
Oliver,
the fact that you
know that book.
No.
And as he's sort of just like bumbling and talking about absolute nonsense, he steps out into the darkened room and doesn't even cast light. He just sort of stumbles around in the dark and puts on some gloves that glow a little bit with a magical hue as he puts them on. And he very carefully takes out a very, very thick novel.
Why
But
does
they
the gay
didn't-
dragon book have more ceremony?
This is the book on the dragon.
Oh.
Hierarchy. Okay. I was like, God damn, this is some special gay dragon book.
He pulls out a book called The Dragon Queen, and there is a sort of black and white sort of etching into the book of what appears to be a woman with somewhat long flowing hair, and she's ordained in all sorts of draconic-like jewelry, and she bears a staff. As you sort of look over this book, you don't really see anything that really catches your eye, but the bugbear goes on to describe that this is a book about the Dragon Queen. She is a long-lost goddess from a far, far distant world, who has essentially long since been forgotten. Her name hasn't even existed through the ages. But it was said that she would turn herself into a humanoid-like figure and walk amongst the people, and would essentially just travel. She would see many things, and just sort of explore the plane where she was from. And there are tales of an ancient dragon war. There was a creature that isn't even mentioned by name. It's just referred to as the Dark One. And it seems that there were at some point references to what the name was, but they have long since been torn out of the book entirely. Yes, this is potentially the closest thing I could think of the Dragon Queen. Such an interesting individual. Would that I could have gotten my hands on something in color, but this one was hand reproduced, and I'm not quite certain where I even truly got it from.
Would I be able to take this back to my home, or would this?
Oh heavens, no! The book would fall apart on basic contact. This book, actually, my gloves, they are designed to handle the book and sort of levitate it, but without actually touching it. It doesn't actually make physical contact. I may actually be willing to give you these for a time. And he returns the book to where it was, and he takes off the gloves very meticulously, and he holds the little gloves out to you.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Yes, unfortunately, I will have to supervise you as you read. As you know, it's very, very rare edition.
Of course, I understand. Back then we had plenty of first editions, well over 500 years old.
Oh, how lovely. To be a book as old as an elf. In any case, by all means, please go ahead. Don't mind me while I just, he just sort of backs away a little bit. What in particular are you looking for in the book?
I think just like, well, just overall the idea of like, dragons like visage forms, and just like the ability to how they can and how they do sort of disguise their power, their essence.
Go ahead and roll me an investigation or a history check, whichever you prefer. They sort of skim through the novel.
Only a 9, unfortunately.
A 9. You're trying to look for keywords, and it's a very, very long book. This is essentially a religious story that goes on for far longer than you could have expected. And it's kind of awkward with the bugbear kind of just like hanging around, just like kind of just resting and waiting. And the only part that you're able to catch in reference to is how the Dragon Queen, a long, long time ago, sought to battle against a powerful lich who was ruling over a kingdom. And the gods were not meant to battle against mortal kind, but the necromancer had reached such heights that he became a full-fledged archlich and risked even becoming a minor god himself. And when choosing to take on a form, the Dragon Queen chose to take on the form of a humanoid woman. And the necromancer was notable for one of his arcane talents. He also was referred to as something of a star child, though the definition in the book is something fairly different. One of their abilities is that they are just inherently more attuned towards magic. And in this particular case, when he looked upon the Dragon Queen, her magical essence was so overwhelming that it destroyed him in body and soul. Into which she sent her dragonkin to go and find his phylactery and destroy it. But as far as you can tell, the Dragon Queen had such an impressive aura that it was able to just destroy magic users as a whole. So there are tellings that there are individuals that could reach such heights. You're not quite certain where Mist may lie.
All good. I believe I've gathered what I need to know. My good man.
Very good. In that case, and then he just instinctively goes and holds the book, and his hands sink a bit into the hard cover. He goes, "Oh, by the gods, I've ruined everything."
That's fine.
And then he removes his hands, and it's just the cover is dust. And he goes, "Delightful. Would you mind holding on to the book for a moment and just drifting it back into its place?"
Of course.
Yes, I should have considered this, actually. That was entirely my fault. Don't worry about it at all. I wouldn't charge you anything for it. It's entirely a mistake on my part.
All right.
Just slowly mending cantrip each individual speck of dust back together.
Was there anything else you were interested in, or will that be all?
You spoke of that other book.
Yes, The Boy and the Dragon Gay, yes.
Just blushes every time.
And he, as soon as it's put away and he retrieves the gloves back from you, he brings you into the children's novel section, and it's a fairly short book. You could read it in the entire time, and there's several copies of it. But as you take it, you kind of just like skim through it really quickly. And the summary is that there was a young boy who was involved in an ancient dragon war between mortal kind and dragon kind. And when his family was murdered by the dragons, he sought to understand why the dragons hated his kind so much. And instead of seeking vengeance, he traveled into the mountains, where he found an abandoned dragon child who was killed by humans. He took the wormling, and the two of them became very, very good companions. And as time went on, the two of them made some strides in brokering some peace between the two. But before long, the human child passed away due to old age, and the dragon was left distraught as the dragonkin continued their war. And so he sought to make himself into a human in that case, so he could dissuade his brethren from continuing the perpetuating cycle of vengeance. When ultimately he was slain himself by dragonkind. And in the end, it's said that there was a level of peace that was attained afterwards by the sacrifice of the dragon, and the two were immortalized with a statue on that world.
seem to be much in the way of romance, but I
So
just
would
like
you
I don't
say
have
this
the.
is more like an enemies to lovers or like a friends to lovers? Obviously, it's a slow burn, but
It's
I
not
don't think
quite
she
at
has-
all. He seems to. The romance part seems to have completely just not been there.
Yeah. She doesn't have the courage to ask for anything more.
But it is a very. You look at some of the pages and you question. They go, companions?
Yeah.
As the two traveled the world together and sought to find ways of bringing peace. You question what exactly had gone on, but it is a story and you're not certain how close it could be.
Right. All good though. And I imagine, as I said, Lyra would not have the confidence to ask for any other more direct romance books.
check in with Azusa. She's got some stuff.
And probably just head back to the ship and find that the ship is not there.
Oh no, that's me!
Oh, no.
That is true. The ship would likely be gone.
Did we leave? No, we can't even
the
say we
connection's
left
still
check
there, right?
behind.
It's been a couple hours.
Well, yeah, it's probably gone. What am I talking about?
No.
I'll check back in an hour or so, and she'll just go to the bar again. Get another glass of wine.
And as you enter the bar, you actually see that Valentine is there waiting for you. Oh, Lyra, it's so good to see you. And she goes over and she gives you a big, big hug.
Oh, lovely to see you too.
And that is where I think we will end it, unless anyone wants to do anything else today.
I am good.
I think we're gonna make good progress.
Oh yes, one last thing actually. Zuza, since you are back on your ship,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of take the time to settle in and relax. And you recall that you had a lot of letters of General Hammond's correspondence that you never really had the opportunity to look through.
Yes.
And as you look through it, you find that there were 4 letters in particular. One of them is written in not quite the best common, though it is very formal. It just seems like this person had an education, but not quite the etiquette to learn to write very well. One is some of the most fancy handwriting you've ever seen in your entire life. Another one seems to be almost surprisingly small text, and you wonder who could have written this. And the final one is actually handwriting you've seen before. It's that of the Federation spy, C. Just very quickly skimming through, you find one is from the captain of the Monster Hunters Guild. One is from an individual known as a Pep. Another one is from Hamford, and is labeled as Father, question mark. Or Father, comma. So you imagine this might be General Hammond's son. And the last one is the spy. Does any of them pique your interest currently?
Oh gosh. I mean, they all sound interesting. I feel like I faintly remember reading, I feel like I faintly remember reading a letter from the son to the father before.
Yes, I believe I sent you these. I sent you these a while ago, but they never really had a chance to like kind of organically come up. Here now is a good time as ever.
Yeah. You know what? Well, are any of the letters dated?
Unfortunately, none of them are.
Alright. Then let's start with the letter to the sun and work out from there.
A letter from the sun.
Father, what is the meaning of this mutiny? You agreed to retire and leave the guild under my supervision. Now I am second in command and you run off to get half of my best men killed on a goose chase for a map of a gilded city. You are a fool, and the guild is foolish for accepting such a preposterous offer. What gold did you pay them? We are done, father. You've traded away my inheritance, the future of your guild, all for what? Consider this letter my resignation. You and the others have lost sight of the thrill of the hunt, and I will not be party to it. Signed, Hamford.
Right.
Clearly, there was some sort of familial distress going on.
Well, it mentioned the Adventurers Guild, so let's look at that next.
Next one was the Monster Hunters Guild. Hail, good general. Had you not attended the hunt, we'd have lost more of our elite members, but we will need to speak with you about our vessels in the coming week. Tell them how we lost 12 men only to capture a lunar dragon and not kill its mother. Gold has reached the others and will be distributed appropriately to keep the others in line. Once all over, remind me why you came out of retirement for a suicide mission of a job. Yours truly, Avani, captain of the Monster Hunters Guild. Despite what you read there, you find it interesting that they mentioned Lunar Dragon. Perhaps they meant Crystal Dragon, as that would line up with the timeline. Though it is interesting that the Monster Hunters Guild might know something a bit more about what's going on with Sparkles, at least the original timeline. Hamford also seems to know something a bit about the Golden City, though you can't imagine that he would be of much assistance to that. You have the letter from the fancy individual and the letter from the Federation spy.
Alright. Let's do the fancy next.
Hammond, you are to go and speak with the Githyanki at the attached coordinates. Tell the Kithrak operating the station that you have found the crystal dragon that they are looking for. They are looking for an astral elf with green pastel hair. That man is the key to a gilded city with unimaginable riches. The exchange will be done at your home. Use any and all resources at your disposal, or will be delivered to bribe your former partners at the Monster Hunters Guild. Inform them that Hamford is no longer the acting commander, and you intend to return until you truly retire. As promised, your freedom from the fleet in exchange for what I want. Don't fail me. There are much more terrifying things than the maw of a dragon and the silver of the Githyanki sword. You are to burn this letter once you have finished reading it. Larry. As you read the word to yourself, you are only able to get a glimpse of the name that was written as the letter begins to burn itself.
Oh.
But the name was listed as a pep.
Interesting. Okay.
So it seems that the good general never quite had the opportunity to fully finish reading it.
Let's just write down as much as I can remember of that real quick. And once I've done as much as I can of that, let's go for the last letter.
General Hammond, in exchange for your actions in delivering plans of the fleet's weaponry and your countless hunts in service of keeping the galaxy safe, I hereby pardon you from all crimes aiding and abetting the Star Chasers and grant you the position of Enforcer General. Captain Foul Void will pick you up from the meeting spot as determined by your contact. Upon arrival, you will surrender, be delivered to judicial chambers. Send the attached pardon to the Enforcer, and I will be waiting to accept you. C.
Alright. I'm not entirely sure of the import, but clearly he was intending to betray the fleet to the Federation in return for that amnesty. That's the word I'm thinking of.
Indeed. And these are free for you to share with the others or to keep to yourself entirely.
Oh, I don't see a reason to keep it quiet. I'll let them know when there's a chance to speak on the subject. Oh, and I'd probably end that with, we, assuming it hasn't happened already, we really should get about to having my wrathful vengeance delivered upon that two-timing, backstabbing thief.
Imagine you'll get the chance to talk about it when Valentine returns.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone want to do anything else before we wrap up session for tonight?
I just wanted to carry on with some side progress for Aspen.
That's entirely fair. If we're up for it, we can keep going.
No, we're fine. The fact that we managed to actually get the cluster core for next time means that we can actually we've got some side stuff to do.
Yeah.
Yes, I will start clearing out some of those side quests. I'll edit the list that we have in the Discord. Yes, thank you all so much for coming. I hope you all enjoyed. This has been Comet Tales with the absolutely wonderful Azura the Azure Dragon, Lily Faywood, and B, Peculiar Little Rabbit. Let's see who is around would like to interact with. Let's see. I do see someone I know who's doing some Dungeons and Dragons, though they are doing something interesting that I've never heard of before, and I think it's a unique system. They are doing a Pokemon tabletop RPG system.
Oh.
And they are doing a contest, the contest spectacular, I believe it's called. The ones that you do in Emerald and I believe in Diamond, Pearl, Platinum.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It looks very interesting at the very least. Let's go and say hello. I have no idea what's going to go on. I know that occasionally they get a little bit rowdy, but that's going to be fine. As if we don't get rowdy ourselves.
This has been a fairly rowdy. Yeah, this has been a fairly rowdy episode.
That is
I feel like.
quite the party they have. There's a lot of people here.
Oh gosh.
Wow, I didn't realize that. Unless that's all their Pokemon. It could be all their Pokemon, but wow. There's also a super buff Gardevoir. Let's see what's going on. Thank you all so much for coming. I hope to see you all next time. And as always, safe travels. Bye-bye.
Safe travels.
Oh, Cynical, I know her.